Woo, man. I'll be honest, I wasn't 100% sure if this was going to go down today or not. I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? So basically, I was trying to stream and it just like all of a sudden I changed one USB port and everything collapsed. But we are on now. What is going on? I'm Nick. Welcome to Nimmin Live, the #1 place on the internet to learn about YouTube, network with other YouTube content creators, and have an awesome time doing it. Again, my name is Nick, and what I'm doing in the stream today is I'm answering your YouTube questions. So there's a form down in the description below where you can put your questions. It's 100% free. You don't have to spend a dime, not even a penny. You can go ahead and put your question down there about what it is that you're trying to do on YouTube, any troubles that you're having with YouTube, something that you're trying to understand about YouTube. It doesn't have to be like platform specific. It can be creator problems like, hey, I started a channel with 2 people and I don't know if that's a good idea. Or me and 4 of my buddies started a YouTube channel. I don't know if that's a fantastic idea or not for all of us to have a YouTube channel together. Right. So any question that you have, make sure you put it down in the description. It's first come, first serve basis. So you want to make sure that you get down there right now, put your question in the form down below. I also want to let you know that this stream is brought to you by TubeBuddy, the #1 browser plugin for YouTube content creators. TubeBuddy is a browser extension. So basically they have an app as well, but it's a browser extension that you put in, you install it into Google Chrome or Firefox. And it's basically like your buddy for YouTube success because it'll help you tag your videos. It'll help you optimize your videos for discovery in general. It'll help you find awesome topics to make videos about. It's going to help you make better thumbnails because they have an A/B testing tool, which means that they compare your thumbnails against each other, and a bunch of other amazing features with TubeBuddy. I also want to let you know this stream is also brought to you as a co-sponsor with StreamYard. StreamYard is the live streaming software that we stream this on every other week, and we're in the process of possibly switching this over to every week. We're going to see, but this StreamYard is also now a show sponsor. It is the easiest live streaming platform on planet Earth. You can get StreamYard for free as well if you want to give it a shot, down in the description below. And here's how StreamYard is extremely awesome, is your computer doesn't have to be off the charts for StreamYard to work. It doesn't tax your computer at all because everything is web-based. So you don't have to worry about having like a strong computer in order to get it to work. So with all of that out of the way, I just want to say what is up to Verdhan Rangu. What's up? Nice to see you in here. Danny Hatcher, what is up? Nice to see you in here as well. I'm coming in a little bit kind of off today because I'm in the process of, getting everything working again, right? That's like step #1. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to switch over to the other location here in just a minute to where I can see the chat and I can see all of that stuff, a little bit better. But while I'm in the process of doing that, I just want to say facts about cats. What is going on? Nice to see you here in the live stream today. And the Kelly Hustle says recommendation for growth if you just want to do live content. So if you just want to do live content and you're wanting to grow your YouTube channel with it, the best approach to take with it is to package your live streams, not like I do. And what I mean by that is, or not just package, but like put your live streams together, not like I do. So these live streams that I do here every Saturday, just to show you an example, something you can actually see. These live streams that I do here every Saturday, I answer a ton of questions over the next like 3 or 4 hours, right? And because of that, the whole structure of this show is all over the place because the stream is guided by the questions that you ask. So because of that, there's just so much information involved that I could just retitle the video as, like grow with, kind of like just leaving it what it is now. However, the replay isn't there. So all of that stuff that I said when the video first started about TubeBuddy and about StreamYard and about, what the show is and what it is that we're doing and all of that stuff, that's not great for the replay. And what that means and what my stats have showed me is that when people click on this live stream and they are watching this on the replay, unless you're already familiar with this, really good chance that you are not going to be hanging out in the live stream for a long period of time because it takes a long period of time to even start getting to any of the real information, which thanks to your question, we're jumping right into it today. However, a great live stream that you would want to model after if you're trying to use your channel or you're trying to use live streams to grow is the video influencers live stream. Now in the video influencers live stream, they package the entire thing around one topic. They talk about the one topic almost the entire time. They have the community side as well, where it's a little bit of a hangout, but the majority of the content that you get there is all based around a specific topic that they try to help you solve, which makes their content fantastic for the replay. So what you want to think about if you're trying to use live streaming to grow your channel is you want to think, when somebody clicks on this and they've never been exposed to my content before, how can I get to the point as fast as humanly possible? How can I make the quality look as good as possible? Like, for example, right? Just to show you, like what I'm working with right now in terms of quality. Let me turn the mic up over here just so I can show you as I keep walking down this road. In terms of the quality, right? So basically I've got that camera over there. That's a nice camera. I've got this camera over here. That's a nice camera. I've got different microphones and all of that for the whole setup and everything it is that I'm doing. I've even gotten like a slider thing that I've got going on over in the background, because when you guys are hanging out in these live streams, you know what I want? I want you to have an awesome time, and I want you to stay focused, and I don't want you to get distracted because it's just one boring, stagnant scene the whole time. So because of that, I invest in all of this stuff to, one, make my streams look cooler because I like to do it, but two, also to try to help you stay just a little bit more engaged in what's going on as well. And I'm putting together a Nimmin Lives Clips channel as well. And since I'm putting together a Nimmin Live Clips channel, guess what? This version where, I'm switching cameras around and I'm doing all of that stuff, this is going to be much cooler on the clips version, when you get to see, different angles of things, a little bit of the behind the scenes look. And I know, and you probably didn't notice, but boy, you're going to notice now all the wires hanging down over here that I got to clean up. But anyway, when it comes to growing your channel with live streams, you just got to think of, how can you make it the best possible experience for the possible or potential viewers that are going to be coming into your live stream? Because the better you can make it for them, then the better your live stream is going to be, the better it's going to be received by the people that are coming in and hanging out in your live streams as well. So I saw some super chats come in. Give me just a second here. I'm going to pop this window out, get everything all handled here. And by the way, if you're hanging out in the stream today, I want to let you know some exciting stuff. So basically, every other Saturday, I have a group stream, or I actually have the option for a group stream. So one of the things that is going to be happening later is I'm going to be sharing my my link to this live stream in a Facebook group that I'm a part of, to where it's just other content creators that talk about YouTube like I do. So they're very knowledgeable on what's going on here on YouTube. And there's going to be some more people possibly that come into the live stream, because it's optional, nothing scheduled or anything like that. But for those people that want to come into the live stream, we might have some special guests on here today as well. And it looks like my soundboard. There we go. I got it. Okay. Yeah, so hopefully we get some guests on here today. Yeah, want some guests, right? Okay, so anyway, let me jump into these super chats, but just to kind of wrap up that thing about the live stream. So if you're growing your channel or with live streams, you just want to think about, how can I make my live streams as much like a video as possible? If you watch the news, if you watch, all these other things on TV that are done live, they're always switching up. They're always switching angles, they're switching footage, they're having graphics show up on the screen, all this extra stuff, because it makes a better experience. Now, with that said, if you're lecturing, then in that case, you might be able to get away with something a little bit different. So you're going to have to experiment with the type of content that you make. But in, a lot of cases, you just got to make it as much like a video as you possibly can, because that's kind of the built-in experience here on YouTube. People click on stuff because they're on YouTube expecting to watch videos, right? So somebody that's never been exposed to your content, you got to think, okay, what can I do for them to where when they click on my stuff, they're really going to also enjoy it. I'm going to be able to grab their attention at the beginning of it and all of that stuff. Now, I'm going to get into the super chats here, because I just saw some come in here as well. We've got to find the right date. Recommended for growth. Okay, Mike's Auto Detailing. What's up, dude? Thanks for the super chat. Says your video yesterday was awesome. Everyone needs to watch it. I agree. See, what's funny is, like, some videos you put them out and it's like, this is a fun video and it's a good video, lots of great information, awesome tools in there, but people just don't respond to them. So that's actually my worst performing video on my list of 10 out of 10. That's number 10, and it's staying there. My retention on it's bad, and it might be because of chapters. I got to experiment with that more. But my retention's on it's bad. The amount of browse traffic that I'm getting on it's bad. All the way around. Interest, click-through rate, we can't put out winners all the time. And that one's a crystal clear example of not being able to put out winners all the time. So thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. And the next one here is from Niley Squires. There we go. Next one here is from Niley Squires. Says, hey, just want to say thank you. Your channel is growing. Niley Squires, high five and fist bump to you for the channel growth there. Always good to see that type of feedback coming in. And iFun Chris says, almost 1 year on TubeBuddy. Thanks from you, Nick. That is very cool. iFun Chris, happy to see that you are a happy and thrilled TubeBuddy user as well. Okay, so we have some questions that are rolling in right now. So I want to make sure that I get to some of these questions because, again, they are in the order that they are received. So if you've got a question in here, here's the deal. Make sure you hang out because, you know, people will say, they'll come back into the chat like, hey, I left and I came back. Did they answer my question? Well, you got to stick around to know if we answer your question or not. All right. So just a heads up also, I would appreciate if you are on Twitter, share this live stream out there on Twitter. Make sure you tag me when you do. I would appreciate it. Just so we can help more YouTubers here in the live stream today. And also, if you're enjoying the stream so far, I mean, we're only one question in and we've got hours of this to go. But if you're enjoying the stream so far, make sure that you give this video a thumbs up so that people, as they're coming into the stream, they're going to know if the stream sucks or not. That's kind of like the indicator for that. Okay, so the first question that we have here on the list is from SWO Automotive. SWO Automotive uploads 1 time per week or more. And the goal of the channel is I want more views and subscribers. And the question says, why are people watching my videos but no subscribing to my channel? So typically when people are watching your videos but they're not actually subscribing to the channel, that means that they can't clearly see the value that they are going to be getting from you on your YouTube channel. So because of that, you have to think about the content that you're putting out. You have to think about, one, you got to make sure you're reminding them to subscribe. If you want to increase your subscribers with the traffic that you're already getting, the views that you're already getting, you got to ask first. You know, that definitely helps. But on top of that, you want to make sure that topically, because your channel name is automotive, so I'm guessing you're talking car stuff. So what you want to think about is if people are coming in, can they clearly see the value that I offer on my channel? So one way that you can clearly state the value that is offered on your channel is you can say things like, you know, hey, welcome to another video where I'm going to show you how to, you know, change the brakes on your car. If this is your first time here, we cover all aspects of car maintenance. So make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss any future videos so you can keep your car in smooth purring running order or whatever thing that you would say there. And the idea with that, when you say those sorts of things is, and you don't have to do it at the very beginning, of course, you want to get them into the video a little bit and just kind of do it in passing while you're filling time in the video. That way is a safer way to do it if you're not experienced with that. But when it comes to those calls to action, the idea, it's more about letting people know that your channel has more of the content that they're watching, because what that does is that illustrates to those people that not only do you have this video on your channel, but you have an entire channel or more videos exactly like the ones that they're watching. So one, they should explore your YouTube channel page. Two, they should subscribe so they don't miss the future content that you're going to put out. Because here's the thing. If your channel, like when your videos open up, if your channel doesn't appear like a typical YouTube channel, then in that particular case, somebody might not know, if they don't put in the energy to explore, that you have an entire channel full of that type of content. Let's say that you're making, you know, everything in your phone and you're doing it all in your garage and the shots aren't set up. It's like real amateurish content. Then in that situation, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. People respond to that. But what I'm saying is that's where those types of things come into play, because, you know, for all somebody knows, you could just be some random dude that is, you know, making that one random video on your YouTube channel as an example. So you don't want to default and expect people to click and look at your channel name and click and explore and things like that. It's your job as a content creator to let them know somewhere or throughout your video content the type of content that you offer on your YouTube channel. So another place you can do this is you can do it in the end screen. You can do it, you know, as your video is closing out, make sure you have your end screen elements showing up first, but you can also say, you know, hey, you know, for more videos like this to learn how to fix your car, remember to subscribe. And again, the idea is just reminding people, especially if they're on car content, maybe they're following along, right? Maybe they're watching your videos and they're just not, you know, they're not paying attention to, hey, subscribe, because YouTubers think that way, just civilians don't. So because of that, you want to think, okay, if somebody's sitting there working on their brakes, then it's probably a good idea for me to remind them to subscribe to the channel for more content like this, because they're probably involved in their brakes. They're probably not thinking about subscribing because they're not a YouTuber, right? So just some food for thought there. So next up on our list here, I saw some super chats come in. I will get to those right here in a second. Un momento, por favor. Okay, we've got Savvy Turtle. We've got Harry Tornado. Says, I've heard that tags are becoming less and less important. Bigger channels are focusing only on titles and thumbnails and not using any tags at all. What are your thoughts? My thoughts are that, yes, they are becoming less and less important. And YouTube has actually said that, you should put like misspellings in there and, that kind of things. Maybe another way people might, find the content that you have. But in my book, when YouTube has a feature, you want to use it. So as soon as it becomes irrelevant, that's when you stop using it. So as an example, they just spent tons of money and tons of man hours rebuilding the new YouTube Creator Studio. What did they include? YouTube tags. So because of that, still use them. When they're 100% zero importance, then they're not going to be there anymore. They'll take them out and then we don't have to worry about it. So until they remove the feature, keep using tags. Now look, don't spend tons of time on your tags. Don't be like, oh, I'm going to spend 3 hours trying to find the right tags, the perfect tags for what it is that I'm doing. Don't take that approach. What you want to do is you want to say, okay, I'm going to use something like TubeBuddy, right? I'm going to use TubeBuddy, or I'm just going to think about what my viewers would be looking for if I'm not a TubeBuddy user. And I'm going to say, which you need to be a TubeBuddy user, by the way, but I'm going to take that moment and I'm going to say, okay, this is what my title is. This is what my description is. So I'm going to put some things in my tags that are relevant to the video that I'm talking about. And that's it. I'm not going to spend hours researching tags or anything like that. I'll use TubeBuddy's Tag Explorer, or not their Tag Explorer. I'll just use their suggested tags, the ones that are relevant to my video, and just put those in there. And then, of course, any misspellings or anything like that per YouTube's recommendation, those sorts of things would go in there as well. But keep using them. When they're not important 100%, then you won't need, the box won't even be there. And for now, just keep using them. But don't spend tons of time on them. Next on the list, Tampa Life says, I have a much larger following on Instagram. Is it ever appropriate to post my whole YouTube videos on Instagram, or always try to send them back to YouTube? Love your content. Thank you, Tampa Life. I'm glad that you are enjoying the content. So when it comes to getting people to hot platforms, you can do it. Right? You can do it. But what you got to think about from your perspective is you got to think about, okay, what is it that I'm offering on Instagram? What is it that I'm offering on YouTube? Is there a good crossover there in terms of what it is that I'm offering? The people that are watching my Instagram, would they legitimately like what it is that I offer on YouTube and vice versa? If the answer to that is yes, then you can just go ahead and put your full videos there. Because here's the thing, I just put out a podcast about this. My podcast episode, I've got a link to my podcast down in the description. It's called Comments Over Coffee. But the episode is about, do you need to build a website as a YouTuber? That's what the podcast is about, that episode. But one of the things that I talk about in there is when it comes to things like this, that instead of thinking like, hey, I'm just a YouTuber, or hey, I'm just an Instagrammer, or hey, I'm just on TikTok, or hey, I'm on YouTube and that's my primary focus, but I'm also, a little bit on Instagram, a little bit on TikTok, a little bit on Twitter. Think of yourself as somebody that's like trying to gain influence on the internet. Right. And in that regard, it doesn't matter where you put your content. Like if you have a YouTube video that you put up on YouTube, but it would be easier for your Instagram followers just to go ahead and watch it on IGTV, go ahead and put it on IGTV. Now, of course, and you're not going to, have the same monetization that you're going to have over there. You're not going to have that option to loop them into more of your content or to even get them to subscribe to your YouTube channel. However, occasional videos over there just to give them, some good quality content as well. Go ahead and, meet them where they're at, so to speak, in terms of, they're on Instagram, they're watching stuff on Instagram, they're hanging out on Instagram, they're in their phone on Instagram, not on YouTube. So that's just one more opportunity for you to get in front of that person that is consuming content like yours or your content specifically, so that you can kind of pull them into your sphere because they recognize that you do awesome stuff. So because of that, when it comes to Instagram, sure, go ahead and share your stuff there from time to time, maybe even every video if you'd like, if you find people really dig it over there. But one thing that you might want to do as well is, I know Instagram, at least IGTV has the retention graph similar to YouTube. So look in there. If you have like a 10-minute video or a 5-minute video that's a great fit for YouTube, then if you find out that on IGTV that almost everybody's only watching for a minute or two, then in that case, be like, okay, well, let me take a different approach here and make sure that I'm delivering Instagram content to people on Instagram that are watching videos for 1 to 2 minutes instead of 5 to 10-minute content from my YouTube channel, just for the sake of repurposing it over there. Okay. So just think about what it is you're trying to do. And another thing as well is, I know like on YouTube, Instagram has this too on IGTV. If you're trying to drive people in your descriptions for like affiliate stuff or anything like that, or to bring awareness to anything else that you're doing in that situation, you also want to make sure that if you have a goal and you're trying to get people on your email list, you're trying to promote something as an affiliate or create income from what it is that you're doing. In that case, anywhere where you can put content in order to share those links is a win, in my book. So stuff to consider. Next up on the list is Tax Shack Tom Curry. Says, hey, Nick, just dropping in. Stuck at work sucks. Yeah, man. So thank you for swinging by, and my condolences, I guess I should say, for being stuck at work. You know, I know there's a lot of people right now that, you know, that can't work because of, you know, all the craziness in the world. So, you know, at least be grateful on that side of things. But, you know, like, I feel your pain there. You know, be much better hanging out at home, kicked back, feet up on the ottoman, you know, watching some Nimmin live on the TV. As a matter of fact, give me a hashtag. Let me know what you're watching this on right now. You watching this on a mobile? You watching this on a TV? You watching this on a computer? Just give me a hashtag with the response to that really quick. I'm just curious to know how it is that you're actually watching this right now. How you're watching this right now. Okay, restore chat. Boom. Okay, so let me pop this back out. How can I reconfigure my thing here? Tell you what, these Macs, I'm just not. Oh, you know what? I've got that extra window thing I can do. Okay, so let's see. We got mobile, laptop, mobile, phone, PC, mobile, computer. All right, nice range there. Good. Not a lot of TVs though. Not a lot of TVs. All right. Okay. All right. Mobile at work. Okay. Mobile. Hey, you're supposed to be working. Oh, just kidding. If I had a job, I'd be watching YouTube too. That'd be like most of my time. I'd be watching YouTube. I'd be researching stuff on how I could get out of that job. That's what I would do. Let's see here. So next up on our list, we've got Tox CPT. Tox CPT says, just wanted to show some support. Also, do you have any idea why my RPM is as high as $30 without mid rolls? It could just be based on the CPM that you're getting. It could be based on, I'm not sure if you're live streaming or anything like that, any super chats that are coming in. That kind of stuff can also impact that. So it could just be, you know, your general rates that you're getting plus any of those things on top of it as well. But yeah, thank you for the super chat there. And let's see here. And Nyree Squires, my apologies, says, am I missing something? How do I put a notification button? /bell on my channel page so I can ask them to click adoption tips and advice channel? So when you are looking at it from your view, what you are seeing is you're seeing it from your view. So in your case, you're probably going to see like a edit channel, and you're going to see a couple big blue buttons there. So because of that, when you look at it and you're not logged into your account in that situation, you are going to see it. Is that thing tilted? Wow, I think that might fall down. I'm keeping an eye on this thing. This thing might fall over. But basically, when you are looking at it from a non-logged in account, then in that situation, then you're going to see the subscribe button. You're going to see the notification as well. Even if you look at it on a phone, you'll also see that option also. So it's not something you have to install, nothing that you have to do on your end. That's already built in on YouTube side, so that you don't have to worry about it. Oh, it is tilting, I think. Is that tilting? I think it is. Uh-oh. We might have a situation here, folks. It is. You know what? I'm gonna go fix this really quick. Holy moly. I don't want that to fall down. Holy moly. 1 second. All right, we're back. Whew. Drama, right? Man, I don't know. That's whew. I don't know if you can see that on your end or not, but that puppy is tilting. But I think it's just the screw up underneath. Man, I don't know. We're just gonna let it ride, and then we're gonna see. We're just gonna let it ride. We're gonna see what happens. So stay tuned, folks. We might have a whole camera thing fall down over there. We're gonna see. Okay, so next up on our list. Oh yeah, so Nyree, I hope that got you taken care of. In terms of that button, it's on there by default. So all you have to do is just tell people to subscribe and click the bell, and you're good to go. And depending on who your audience is, it might even be a good approach to actually let people know what happens. Like, you know, let them know it's free. Let them know that, like, if you have an older crowd, for example, letting them know that subscribing is even an option, letting them know that it's free, it doesn't cost them anything, and letting them know that in order to get the notifications to actually click the bell, go through that whole, you know, thing with them. Because even though we take it for granted because we're content creators, a lot of people actually don't even know that you have the option to subscribe on YouTube. I know it sounds bizarre. I know it sounds crazy, but I've actually had comments even on my channel of people watching my videos because they're trying to figure out YouTube so that they can actually upload videos to YouTube. They're on my channel looking for that type of content or watching that type of content. And they're like, oh, I didn't even know you could subscribe. I didn't even know this was an option on YouTube. And I'm thinking, okay, big red button says subscribe on it. If you don't, if you don't click it, I mean, how are you going to know? Maybe they don't think it's free. I don't know. I don't know how brains work. Next up on the list, we've got the Gaming Shelf. Gaming Shelf says, this week I hit 15,000 subscribers and got my first sponsorship. High five and fist bump to you. That's what I'm talking about. Says, your content has been invaluable for helping me grow. Just wanted to say thank you for all you do. Yeah, I mean, congratulations on the growth on your YouTube channel. Congratulations as well on your first sponsorship deal. Loved it. Absolutely love to see that. So when you get the option on the sponsorship deal, if you like that company and you're happy working with them, just a little side tip to help you, do better so that you can keep making the content that you enjoy, plus keep bringing that sponsor to your viewers because it's a cool product or service. Plus the company also benefits because the continued exposure to your audience over time, especially as your channel grows. Try to work out a long-term deal. So if you're not already, when people are doing sponsorships, they often will just do like a video, and that kind of keeps you on the hamster wheel, right? If sponsorships is one of the ways that you monetize, kind of keeps you on the hamster wheel. And it keeps you on the hamster wheel, always looking for deals, always, doing all this outreach and stuff. And that's okay. But if you can get, 2 videos for the deal, or 5 videos for the deal, or 6 months worth of videos for the deal, or a year's worth of video for the deal, then in that case, it works out, better all the way around for everybody. Because in addition to you not having to do that whole rat race thing, or that hamster wheel thing, then it also is a benefit to everybody across the board because it's continued exposure to your audience. Eventually, some of the people will skip it once they have it installed and stuff like that. But for everybody else, all the new people coming into your channel as it grows, you're going to have the opportunity to introduce them to like cool stuff. And, it's over that long period of time. So just something to consider, like when you are renegotiating after your videos perform well for them, after they perform well for them this time. So this thing, right, it's going like this. So it's tilting. It's definitely tilting. I wonder if I have to take it off. Yeah, it might be the screw thing underneath there, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure that out later. But fingers crossed that it's not going to fall. Okay, so next up, let's get into, actually, let me refresh this page, make sure I didn't miss any super chats. I see some over here, so I think I did actually. So, un momento, por favor. Okay, so next up on our list, we've got that fat guy, and he says, hey, I want to say thank you to everyone here. Or I want to say to everyone here learning and watching, you're all awesome. Keep it up. Keen for a chat sometime, Nick. Nimmin for life. Awesome. So thank you for that super chat, and thank you for the kind words to the community. I'm sure everybody loves the encouragement. Okay, so now I'm going to hop into the form here. We're going to keep on cruising on some of these questions here. So we got SWO Automotive out of the way. Next, we're going to go into Spectacular here. Now, with Spectacular says they have a gaming, ASMR, and more channel. The goal is to get 10,000 subscribers. And the question is, how do I get sponsored? Really quick before I answer that question, I want to say the Reaper777, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate it. So when it comes to getting sponsored, first and foremost, above everything else, is you have to make good content that people are coming in and watching. You don't have to have a huge channel. There's something called micro influencers, which is basically people that aren't like full-blown, full-fledged, been doing this for a long time influencers yet. You are a micro influencer before that. And there's tons of value in being a micro influencer because your audience, you have a lot more interaction with your audience because there's not as many people. So it's easier to keep track. You remember a lot of names. You're able to, a lot of people from your audience you might even connect with on Facebook and end up chatting there and that sort of thing. But as your channel scales, it gets more and more difficult to do that. So because of that, that personal connection becomes really valuable for the micro influencers, for the companies that like to work with micro influencers. But when it comes to getting sponsorships, first and foremost, you got to have your channel ready to roll. What I mean by that is you have to make sure. Man, is that getting worse? Yeah, this might be a thing here for the stream. Hold on, we're going to see. I don't know what's going on. Okay. But basically, when it comes to getting sponsorships, what you want to do is you want to think, okay, you want to look at your channel, right? Load up your channel page. If I'm looking at my channel right now, How does it look? Am I representing myself in a good way? Is everything, does it look professional? I don't know if that's the right word to say or not, but I mean, does it look like I'm taking this seriously? Right? That's a good way to put it. 2, you need to audit yourself. Okay, if I'm going to be reaching out to all of these different brands that are, let's say that they typically work with people that are family friendly. Well, I need to go through my tweets. I need to go through my Facebook posts that are public. I need to go through my YouTube channel. I need to make sure that I'm also playing in line with all these different brands that I want to work with. Now, of course, I understand the side of like, hey, I'm going to be me. I'm going to do what I want to do. Da, da, da. I understand that. But what I'm saying is a lot of companies prefer like family friendly. So because of that, if you have been pretty explicit in some of your stuff, you might want to go through and clean some of that up. And you might want to consider that for, some of the future stuff to make sure that you are brand friendly. Now, if you're not doing sponsorship stuff, it doesn't even matter, right? It doesn't matter in that case. But if you are and you're wanting to walk down that road, when you are working with a sponsor, you are a representative of them of sorts, right? Even if it's for one video, how you are representing yourself is also how they will interpret how you will represent them also. So, you want to make sure that you are in alignment there. But then once you have all of that stuff taken care of, then you want to put together a media kit. What a media kit is, it's basically a PDF they can download or a page on your website and people can go to it. You can direct them to it via email or whatever. And in that media kit, it's basically your demographic information, the type of content you make, maybe your upload schedule, a little bit about you and the mission that you happen to be on with your YouTube channel, who your audience is, and a next step in terms of, contact me, blah, blah, blah. Now, once you have that media kit together, then you go and you start looking for all of the different companies that might be a good fit for what it is that you are doing. And you start sending out emails. You start connecting with them on Twitter. You start connecting with them on LinkedIn and talking to people on LinkedIn. You're not cramming yourself down their throats, but what you're doing is you're trying to build awareness that you're there. And then once you start having those conversations with their influencer marketing people on LinkedIn, with whoever's running their Twitter accounts on Twitter, with them directly through their through emails, then in that situation, eventually you're going to have conversations open up to where you're going to be able to offer your videos in exchange for a fee or a product or whatever it happens to be. And then in that situation, you have to be ready to submit a proposal. And that proposal would be what you would charge for XYZ in terms of the content that you're going to do in exchange for whatever it is that they want to do. Now, a lot of companies will have all this stuff already taken care of, because if they're a company where they've already got influencer marketing people, they've already got all this stuff worked out. So because of that, most of it's going to be worked out for you anyway in terms of the proposal side. They're just going to ask you, what are you going to charge? But you want to represent yourself in a professional way. Another thing that you want to do as well, give me a hashtag me if you're interested in doing like sponsorship stuff and things like that on your YouTube channel. I'm just curious, how widespread this information is in terms of everybody that's hanging out here today. But another thing, so I know to keep beating on this horse or not, but another thing that you want to do as well, in terms on the professionalism side, is you can level up even more by also making sure that any email correspondence that you're doing, that you are setting up your own domain name as well, so that you are contacting them from a professional email address. So it's like yourchannelname.com as an example. So like me, for example, I have nicknimmin.com. Right. So if I want to send an email to a brand or potential sponsor or anything professionally, then I do that through nicknimmin.com. So because of that, I have, that particular email address at nicknimmin.com. And then that makes it to where, it legitimizes me, so to speak, in terms of I'm not just some random hitting them up from a Gmail account that could, that Gmail could end up shutting me down. Right. So because of that, it just kind of professional, makes you a little bit more professional. So, so I would definitely make sure you do that as well. So let's see here. Some of the, we got some me's in here. We got some me. We got Sam Ofamaja saying, Nick, what's up? Me. We got Pixel Pagan saying eventually. We got John Polam. What's up, dude? Nice to see you hanging out in the chat here. We got our Perfect Crazy Life, another me there. All right. Yeah. So we got a lot of me's there. Urban Explorer in the house. What's up, Neil? Tim Yance. What's up, dude? Nice to see you here as well. Retired working for you. What is up? Crossed 1,000 subscribers. High five and fist bump to you as well for crossing that 1,000 subscribers. Dad Talks Tech. What is up, my man? Okay, so next question that we got here is from, I don't know if you guys can hear that rain or not. It's rainy season here. That's why like the last 3 live streams, I think it's been raining during the stream. Sunny Vibes is the name of the YouTube channel. Sunny Vibes says, let's see here. They do relaxing music / sounds content. The goal of the channel is to make people feel better and doing some money on top of it. LOL. And oh, that's good. Oh, you know what? I don't have an LOL in here. I've got claps. Yeah, I've got a claps and a got that too. But let's see here. Relaxing music and sounds, making people feel better and making some money on top of it. Says, hello, let me say that I love your channel and your dedication. Thank you for the kind words. Let's see here. I have 4 months old channel and I still haven't found a way to grow yet. I'm stuck at 39 followers, mostly family and friends, and literally nothing moves. Question, can you please explain to me how TubeBuddy SEO score works? I'm unable to reach that 2020 on my first 2 scores, title, description, and title. Many thanks. So basically when it comes to the TubeBuddy SEO score, it really comes down to just making sure that you have the right things in your title, description, and your tags, and that you don't, okay, let's say, for example, if it was going to be best coffee cups, best coffee mugs, 2020. In that particular case, then I would make sure that Best Coffee Mugs 2020 is in my title somewhere. And then in the description, I would also have Best Coffee Mugs 2020 in the description also somewhere. I'd also have it in a tag. But in addition to that, I would also put, something about, Best Coffee Mugs 2020. And then, high quality coffee mugs would be another part of my description. So it would be something along the lines of, in this video, I'm going to show you the best, or this video shares the best coffee mugs in 2020, so that you can know high quality, the best high quality mugs available on the market today, right? And then just by adding that high quality mugs, in addition to the best coffee mugs or the best mugs, in addition to that, it's going to raise your score. But the idea is you want to get it as close to that 2020 as you possibly can. But the way that you do that, though, is just by, through natural language, adding some variations of that term that you're trying to go for as well in there. So that's also definitely going to help. And you do that through that whole thing. So it's like in your title, your description, and your tags as well. And then that will help you get that score up. But here's the thing. Here's what's important to remember. And everybody needs to make sure that they know this. When it comes to ranking your videos in YouTube search, the best metadata in the world, I like doing this, right? It's like, this is important, right? The best metadata in the world in terms of title, tags, description is not going to make somebody click. Nobody sees your description and tags until they actually click. What they see is your title and thumbnails. So because of that, most of your efforts need to be on your title and thumbnail and the actual content itself. Because if your title and your thumbnail don't get people to click, you can have all of the right things in your description. You can have all the right things in your tags. You can even have the right things in your title. But if it's not compelling enough to get people to click, then in that situation, what's going to happen is you're not going to win the click. And if you're not winning the click, then YouTube is going to demote your videos in search. And when they demote your videos in search, what's going to happen is YouTube is going to but their system is going to move yours down and it's going to move up one that is proven to convert, because what they want is they want people to click and they want people to watch for a long period of time. So because of that, if you have if you spend all this time optimizing your videos for search, that's good. However, you got to make sure that you're getting people to click, and you got to make sure that you're getting people to watch. If you can't do those things, then the right title, description, and tags, it's not going to help. That's why it's so important to make sure that you're focusing really hard on your title and thumbnail and how they work together, and that you're focusing really hard on making sure that you're making really good content for the people that are being introduced to you and your channel and what it is that you have to offer. I'm still keeping an eye on this thing over here. It's when it goes this way, it tilts. See, it just stops here almost. Yes, it's gonna turn around right here in a second. But man, when it gets over here, it starts tilting hard. I don't know if you see that happen on your end or not. Ooh, okay, so next up in our list here, I think I had some super chats come in. I've got my layout here a little bit different than most of the time. So because of that, seeing things here a little bit different. We've got, let's see here. We've got, okay, people talking, fantastic. Challenger Animation, you are awesome also. Thank you for the kind words. Let's see here. So next up on our list, we've got Diamond Painting with Stacy. Thank you for the super sticker, the little dancing bird there. I appreciate it. Eric Aguilar, I hope I'm saying that right, says difference of influencers and a content creator. So a influencer is somebody who has a following. It's somebody to where, think of it this way. An influencer is somebody who has the ability to influence the thoughts and decisions and actions of other people in some way. right? I just came up with that. That's pretty good though. So basically, since they have that ability, because they have a lot of followers, since they have a lot of followers, then it starts coming down to when they give a recommendation, can you trust their recommendation? If the answer is yes, then in that situation, then they're a good influencer, because if they keep giving you good recommendations, you're going to keep coming back and you're going to keep being influenced by that person in terms of they're like, hey, this mouse is awesome. You should check this out. I got this. And it, oh my God, this is like changed my life with these little quick buttons on the side for editing. Then I can do like quick cuts and everything. Then you'd go get that mouse and you'd be like, holy cow, they weren't kidding. This just shaved off like, like an hour of editing time. Well, guess what's going to happen? The next video of theirs that pops up, you're going to watch it. And if they have something where they recommend it and they're like, yeah, this changed my life, you're going to be like, huh, maybe I should try that too, because that mouse recommendation they gave was like spot on. Like that literally, like they nailed it. Right. So that's an influencer. Now, same exact thing goes with, like if you take that approach to Instagram, for example, then what happens there is, like somebody's wearing a certain thing and then they'll have, like shirt by, whoever in the description or whatever it happens to be. And then in that case, people are like, oh, wow, I followed this person. Great picture. They look awesome in that shirt. I think I would look awesome in that shirt. So therefore I'm going to hop on Amazon. I'm going to click this link down in the description and I'm going to go buy that shirt so I can look as good as they do, because that shirt is dope. Right. So that's what an influencer is. When it comes to a content creator is somebody that just makes content. So, you can be a content creator on any platform or all platforms. You can be a content creator across media types as well. So a content creator and an influencer across media types. So you can be a blogger influencer, you could be a podcaster influencer, you could be a YouTube influencer, a TikTok influencer, an Instagram influencer, a Twitter influencer, and so on and so forth. When it comes to content creator, you can be a content creator on YouTube, Instagram. You can be a content creator in terms of creating content in audio format for a podcast. You can be a content creator in terms of making imagery for Instagram. You can be a content creator in terms of making blog posts as well. So that's the difference between all of them. But the influencer side is where you can really start to level things up in terms of like your relationships with brands and that kind of stuff, because then you have like a clear value that if they work with you, then people are going to take your recommendations, and because of that, it makes your influence, so to speak, valuable. So that's the difference. And just a heads up, you can go from never creating anything to all of a sudden, I'm going to go out today and I'm going to take some pictures for Instagram with my phone. That day, that very first picture, you're a content creator. As soon as you take that very first picture and you're sitting there and you're modifying it, you're trying to make it look cool so that it can be, good content that you're putting out there on the internet. As soon as that happens, then you're a content creator. There isn't a barrier to entry for that outside of having something that you can make content with. But technically, even if you are a writer and you're writing on like good old fashioned pen and paper, you're still a content creator. If you're making like a book is content. Okay. So next up, we've got that one really quick. Oh no, okay. So next up on the list, we've got, let's see here. What's up, Nick? Question, where doing tags in your video? We got that one already. Wanted to say thank you, doing God's work, Nick. Thank you, The Real Ghost. I appreciate that. Intrepid Don says, hey, Nick, what's up? Looking to pivot from gaming to 3D printing. I have 10,000 subs, but I haven't been active in a year. Any advice? I assume that I'll get a huge loss of subs short term. All you can do, man, if you are wanting to just left turn and go that route, then in that case, just dive in, right? Sure, you're going to get a loss in subs. You might even have a little bit of a rough start, so to speak, but just keep making that content. YouTube will identify it based on the people that do get shown that content, that do click on it, that do come in and watch what it is that you're doing. So because of that, just go in the direction that you want to go. However, I know that you have, 10,000 subscribers on the one channel. You might just want to use that one as a filter. And what I mean by that is let people know, hey, on this particular channel, I've got, this content that I do, but I just started another channel as well. So if you're interested in that type of content, head over there. And then only the people that are interested in that content and some of the people that just want to support you because they, are trying to help, those are the people that are going to go over and interact with that new channel as well. So they're going to be more qualified for that content because they're actually into 3D printing instead of your content being shown to a bunch of people when you publish it, but a very small amount of those people actually clicking on it. Again, that's just the initial push, but that doesn't mean that the videos are not going to do well long term, because all it takes is one of those 3D printing videos to put you on the map, so to speak, for the 3D printing world. And I think that has me caught up on these. Yep. Okay. So there we go on that. Let me refresh that real quick. Then we're going to get into the question on the form there again. Yeah. So this is when it's all the way over on this side. So basically the thing goes like this, right? It goes from this to like a this. It's pretty heavy. I got to tighten that. But hey, it's fine for now, I think, until the whole thing starts shifting. I think I'm okay. But when the whole thing starts shifting, I might have to just like stop for a minute and be like, hey, it's getting ready to fall. And then I'll run over there and get it all fixed up, you know, in the event that that particular thing happens. Okay. So I just clicked on the live streaming thing, and when I clicked on it, it said 0 concurrent viewers, and like it was like this, and then the cliff is just off. And I was like, oh no, what happened? Did they shut me down for something? Oh no. Okay. So next up on our list, and I'm going to answer this one. I saw some super chats come in. I will get to those right here in just a second. I'm going to pull one out of the form here really quick because we're just a couple in. Because I got to make sure that I am, you know, continuing to, you know, people got in here early, right? So I want to make sure that I get, you know, some of these questions answered too. Okay, so the question is from the Star Wars or T-Wars team. See, default brain there. And it's a gaming content, and the goal of the channel is to have fun and make money. And the question is, how do I get views to subscribe? So in order to get people to subscribe to what it is that you're doing, they have to see value in what it is that you're doing. So the very first thing to do, and I answered this when we first started, but the very first thing you want to do is when you're making your videos, you want to make sure you're reminding people to subscribe. You also, when you can even do this with graphics if you want. You don't have to say anything. You just have something pop up on the screen. But you also want to make sure that you let people know that you have more of that content to offer. And the better you get at that, then the better you're in terms of making it clear what you offer, then the more people are going to subscribe. In addition to that, niching down is also something that I didn't mention the first time I answered this question today. But when it comes to niching down, then what you do in that situation is you create your channel becomes like an entire resource for a certain type of content. And the people that like that type of content, once they discover, I watched this video, I liked it, gave it a thumbs up there, and maybe I shared it with a buddy, left some comments on it, and YouTube showed me another one. I clicked on it, I watched it, I enjoyed it. Clicked on the in-screen video, watched another one, liked that one, even left a comment. Oh, you know what? I've interacted with this channel like 6 times already. I didn't even subscribe because I wasn't thinking about it because I was loving the content. But this content creator just reminded me to subscribe. They didn't say, hey, fam, hit that thumbs up button, smash that subscribe button, leave a comment, share this with a buddy, you know, do all the things. Instead, it's, you know, I make content like this every Monday. So if you don't want to miss a video, make sure that you subscribe or remember to subscribe to the channel. Doesn't have to be anything dramatic, right? Just let them know the value they're going to get in terms of what it is that you offer, and then ask them to subscribe to the channel. All right. So next up, we've got AVE Zoid. And before we get AVE Zoid, I'm going to answer some of these here really quick. And let's see here. Oh, and there's no sound coming from the sampler? Man, that just roughed my day. Really? You're not hearing any of that? So all the stuff that's coming through when I hit these buttons, nothing's coming through? Oh, kicking it Van Vo style. What's up? Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the Nimminati, hanging out here in the live stream, getting to know everybody. So is my thing not working here when I hit these buttons? You guys can't hear this? Oh, well, Theater Maker IE, thank you for the heads up. Oh, brutal. Brutal. All right, well, we're going to have to do something about that. Maybe not. I'm just going to open this up really quick, and I'm going to see while we're here if I can get this all fixed up or not. So we're going to go into the Elgato Stream Deck. Here, I'll actually share the screen so you guys can see what it is that I'm doing here. See here, share screen. Boom. Okay, so here I'm in the deck. Now let's click on Super Chat, File, Autoplay, No Fade, Output. I bet this is it. Okay, now I'm going to try it. Did you hear that one? I bet you didn't. Maybe I have to do it somewhere else. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. See, my concurrent viewers just dropped again. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so did this did that work or no? Am I still a failure? It still didn't work. Oh, brutal. Okay, here, let me see. Speakers, virtual. Let's go into here. Bet this one will. Oh, see, now I can't hear it. I can't even tell if it's playing or not. So, no, did you hear that one? Oh, so brutal. I don't even know what to do. All right. Well, in that case, well, it looks like I'm just going to not use those anymore in order to, and it's still not working. Yeah. So I changed it to the Realtek audio. Hey, Christina Smallhorn in the house. What's up? Nice to see you. Okay. So what else could I change this to? The high definition audio, maybe? Yeah, I don't know. Let's do it one more time. We're going to fix this. By golly, we're going to fix this. Actually, I'm just going to give this one more shot, and then that's it. I'll troubleshoot it on my own time, so I don't waste everybody's time. You're here to learn about YouTube, not help me troubleshoot this, right? So let me. That worked? Really? Oh, did that work? Okay. All right. So let's see here. Let me get this, and then I will do that. See if that worked. Do this. Do this. Boom. 3 more of these, and then we are rocking and rolling for the sound effects. Maybe. Oh, still no? Oh, I don't even know how to respond. I don't even know what's going on here. All right. Well, let me remove that. Shame. The shame is just unbearable. The shame. I got all this set up and I'm like, yeah, I'm clever, right? I'm clever. This is gonna it's gonna look cool. It's gonna sound cool. I got the sound effects. This is gonna be great. And what happens? Yeah, well, didn't work. So we're going to have to try again some other time. All right. So next question here on the list. Let me go ahead and refresh this here really quick. Okay. So we've got e-commerce-aholic here in the house. I'm not even going to hit the button because apparently it's not working anyway. Click on the right speaker. Okay. Yeah, I'll figure it out. Thank you. Thanks for helping me troubleshoot that. I'll have to figure it out a little bit later. So we are rolling sound effect lists. Unless I'm over there, because I can just trigger them live here. Super chat. Like I know you heard that one, because that one always works. Okay, so next up we've got let me scroll down here. We've got e-commerce-aholic. E-commerce-aholic says, starting new Q&A stream that's pivoting a bit from my current audience, merchants instead of e-commerce industry. Thoughts on how to seed the stream while trying to build the audience participation. So if you are going from merchants to, or from e-commerce to merchants, then in that situation, how would you seed that content? Yeah. So in that situation, I would just start uploading some videos about it. And when you start uploading some videos about it, then you're going to get some recent folks in there that are interested in that, to where some of the people from your current audience are going to be watching those videos. So then what I would do in that case is I would do your live stream with a similar topic to where it's crystal clear that it's for the merchant crowd instead of the e-commerce crowd. So that when you do go live in that situation, some of the e-commerce people are probably going to come in anyway. But for the merchants, I would just make it crystal clear in your title that it is for them in terms of the specific language that you would use for them to be able to identify, hey, that's me that this video is about, similar to how I use YouTubers and a lot of my stuff. That's the approach that you would take in that situation in order to, try to seed it over. But other things, I don't know if you have the community tab or not yet. But in addition to that, you could also get some activity going in your community tab, let people know that you have that coming out, let them know specifically what it is to look for, let them know, hey, this is the thumbnail that I'm going to have for it, so that you can make sure that you identify it when it happens, let them know the specific time that you're going to be doing it, so that you can make sure that you're basically just spreading awareness about it is what you're trying to do. And I would also use your other social media platforms like Twitter, if you have merchants that follow you over there. In addition to the e-commerce folks, let them know that you're going to be having a stream on whatever day it is that you're going to have it, so you can just build up awareness. That's kind of the goal of what it is that you are going to be doing with the new version of the stream that you are going to do. So as long as I understood your question correctly, that's the approach that I would take. Next up, and I want to hit that button so bad, but I'm not going to, is where is the super chat button? I'm told my content is mature, as if too mature for the feminine young lady. Should I change my name and add mature? Changing my content is not an option. It's what makes my channel different. So where's the super chat button? Oh, I don't know what you mean. Do you mean in terms of the sound effect? Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean in terms of the button, because to send this, you would have actually hit the button there. But the button for the super chats is actually at the bottom of the chat. That's where that is. But in terms of your content is mature and too mature for the feminine young ladies, I personally don't think that femininity with Mama Gail, I don't even think that that even suggests that it's for like young ladies, so to speak. So because of that, I wouldn't worry about that. I wouldn't change your channel name. And I also, like, if you're getting like comments every now and then about that, don't even worry about it. People are going to come in your comments and say all kinds of stuff. But if people are clicking on your videos and they're enjoying your content, that's what matters. It doesn't matter what some people say in your comment section. Look, I've had plenty of comments on my channel where people are like, oh, you talk too fast. It's fine. I talk too fast. There's a bunch of other people that make content like me that don't talk too fast. So if you want that type of content, people can go there, right? So because of that, I don't alter what it is that I'm doing, because I just want to do me. And then the people that are watching my stuff and watching you that are watching my stuff and watching the way that I do it, you know, if you respond to this, then you'll stick around. If not, then you'll end up, you know, on one of the other channels where they make other stuff similar to mine. And I've got a whole list of them in my sidebar. If you happen to think during this live stream right now, if you're like, hey, Nick's talking too fast, I can't even understand this guy, he's a motor mouth, then first I'm hurt by that. But in addition to being hurt, you can also go to my channel page. On the right sidebar of my channel page, you're going to see a bunch of other YouTube help channels as well. And really everybody should be following all of them anyway, because you know we all share a lot of great information in terms of a bunch of different ways to do a lot of the same things. So you know we all have different approaches. But anyway, when it comes to your channel name, I would just keep it. I would keep it. I don't think that your name represents targeting young people. So because of that, I personally think that you're fine. And for your content, yeah, if changing your content's not an option, I'm high-fiving you on that one. Do you, right? Do the content that you're wanting to do. If it's what makes your channel unique, definitely keep doing that. Next up, we've got, and I went the wrong way again. Vigard sent me a screenshot of how to fix this, but I haven't opened this computer since last week. So I haven't changed it yet. ASMR Dream More says I posted a video yesterday and it was a 9 out of 10, the worst upload ever. Yeah, my one yesterday was roughing it too. Says, so I ended up deleting it, not to mess with the YouTube algorithm. Was it the right decision? No, should have just left it up, because sometimes the videos might not perform that great right out of the gate, but then they might get a lift later. Other times it could just be that it just didn't land like you would hope that it would land. That's a thing too. To where, you know, maybe that specific idea just didn't get the response that you had hoped that it would get, or that you predicted that it would get. Sometimes, you know, like, you know, we make good content, right? And sometimes it just doesn't land. Sometimes the audience just doesn't respond the way that we would like them to. So I personally don't think that you should have deleted it. I think that you should have just focused on your next video. Maybe, you know, just given it some time and maybe made some adjustments, maybe to the thumbnail or title or something after, you know, a few months, or maybe even, you know, quickly, which is something that I try not to do personally. I actually did that. My last video did so bad that I always commit to videos, but my last one did so bad, I even changed my title on that one too. But yeah, so in that situation, I would have given it some time. I wouldn't have deleted it directly off the platform. So in terms of like messing with the algorithm, that's not a thing. Like each video is its own entity, which means that if you have one video that does great and then the next one doesn't do great, that doesn't mean the next one is not going to do great as well. If that was the case, then it would just be, all it would take would be one video on a channel that didn't do great, and it would just be a downward spiral from that point on, right? So you're fine leaving that video up, but you've already taken it down, so not a big deal, but I would have just left it up and then just got on with the next video. Next up, we've got Whack4863. Says, I grew my channel on a single game, trying to branch out, but when I upload new games, they don't get the same views. It's killing my CTR. Any advice? Yeah, you're going to have to wade through that pond. So that happens a lot in the gaming world. That happens a lot just in general on YouTube channels. So people will start out with one thing because they think it would be easy. Now, I'm not saying this is you. I'm just saying other examples. They'll start out with one thing because they think it would be easy, or and like in your case, it would be something that they're interested in at that point in time, and they don't think about like the long-term side of of growing a YouTube channel. So because of that, what will happen is the people that will do something because they think it's easy, they're going to have to pivot into something else, and they'll end up quitting anyway, probably because they're just trying to find that easy thing. But the people that did it based on the thing that they're interested in at that point in time, then when they go to do a left turn and try to do something else or try to sprinkle in other things, then they have to wade through that pond as well in terms of people just not responding to the content as much. And that's because people respond for this and you're giving them this. So it's just, you're just not giving them what they came in for. However, one thing that you can do, since you're doing gaming content, as long as this matches up with your interests and what you're trying to do on your channel, another thing that you can do is you can, let's say that you're doing like Call of Duty content. I'll just say Call of Duty because I'm not sure what it is you're doing. Let's say you're doing Call of Duty content. In that case, then you might want to, the other games that you're doing on your channel, you might want to think, okay, the people that are playing Call of Duty, like I am, that's really into Call of Duty, like what other games would be a really good fit for people playing Call of Duty in terms of, I'm going to ask all of my friends that play Call of Duty, and I'm going to be like, what other games do you play a lot? Like if Call of Duty is your number one, what would your number two be? And then I would start sprinkling out some of that content in the number two. Another thing that I would consider as well, let's say you're doing racing car games, just because this is an easy one to explain. If you're doing driving games, then in that situation, you might want to consider with the new content that you're putting out, you might want to consider that new content is also driving content, but a different game. Right. So then that way you're syncing up with the type of game that people are interested in. And then there's the other side of, hey, you're just going to upload whatever games that you want. And then those games are going to, do well or not based on how people respond on them. And then, like I mentioned on the other question here about switching directions, and then all it takes is one of those videos getting a high response, and then YouTube starting to identify slowly over time that those people are also interested in the content that you have. So either one of those directions would work. But, you're going to have to walk through that pond a little bit just for the sake of, they subscribed for one thing, now you're giving them something else. As an example, here, you watch my videos to learn about YouTube and to learn about, the tools around YouTube and all the different things related to YouTube. If all of a sudden I just started doing vlog content, some people would be like, yeah, I'll watch Nick's vlogs. They're entertaining. Other people, a majority of people would be like, sorry, Nick, you're a nice dude, but I actually subscribe to you because, you share YouTube information. I don't care about your vlogs. I don't care about your life or your opinion on stuff. I just want to know how to grow my YouTube channel. And for those people, they wouldn't click on those vlogs after they realized that it was a consistent thing. And then some of the people would click on them. And then I would have to walk through that, that pond for a while that process was taking place. Same thing if I just all of a sudden started on music content. It would be somewhat related, but if I all of a sudden started teaching people about, music, then in that case, hey, this is how you do electronic music, then in that case, then same exact thing would apply. I'd be like, hey, this isn't what I signed up for. So anytime a music video comes out, I'm not going to click on it, but I'm still going to stay subscribed so I can remember that Nick's there and I can go back and watch some of the YouTube videos when I need them. So, so because of that, you're just going to have to go through that process. Next up, we've got Bandana Games. Bandana Games says, hey, Mr. Nick. Hey, Mr. Bandana Games says, I've been consistently uploading every day for the past 3 months or so. Mine is a VR channel. Love VR. Let's see here. Focusing on Let's Plays. I'm sitting at a respectable 38 subs and I love my little community. I would like to grow though. Okay. So here's what we got to do. Bandana Games. Here's what you got to do. Bandana Games is you have to think about why it is that people watch your content. You have to think about why somebody should click on what it is that you are putting out in terms of the topic, in terms of the title, in terms of the thumbnail. Why should they click on what it is that they have, that you're putting out there? 2, once they start watching the content, you have to think of the entire experience. What is it that the viewer is going through from the very first step with your content? So the process goes like this. They open YouTube on their phone or on their computer. They're scrolling through. YouTube shows them one of your videos, right? They're going to see a thumbnail and they're going to see a title. At that moment, that's where you have to define what it is that would make you click on it or why you think that somebody else should click on it. Not just because it's awesome content, because they don't know yet. Not just because you made it, because they don't know that, because they don't know you, right? So because of that, you have to think, what is it that would make somebody want to click on this? Why would I click on this? And you have to define that on your title and thumbnail or the combination of your title and thumbnail. Now, from there, the next step in that process is they do click on it and then they go and they see your video. So your video opens up, right? That first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds, right? Video opens up right there immediately. They're starting to put those judgments together. Is this somewhere I want to spend my time? Do I want to watch this video? Am I getting what it is that I thought was going to happen here? What's going on in this video? What is it that's going to interest me to keep me watching this video? You have to identify what that is too. So typically, a great way to do that is just straight up telling people, in this video, I'm going to show you X, Y, Z. In this video, we're playing X, Y, Z. In this video, we're doing X, Y, Z. And the reason for that is because you're just confirming right there. As soon as the video starts, they get a little taste of you right there. And then you get into the content. When you get into the content, same exact thing applies. You have to think, okay, this section of my content, why should somebody pay attention to this? Why would somebody care about this? If I'm just playing the game, then in that case, I think you said you are doing Let's Plays. Yeah, you're doing Let's Plays. So in this case, if I'm just playing the game, instead of just playing the game, take people on a journey with you. So what I mean by that is when your video first opens up, instead of it just being like, hey guys, today we're playing this, make it something very specific that you're trying to accomplish. And you also want to think to yourself about that thing that I'm trying to accomplish in this particular Let's Play. Why would somebody want to see this particular thing play out? And why would they want to continue watching the video in order to see this thing play out? So what you would want to do is you'd want to build that up. So that would be the start or the hook of your story, which is where you would be like, okay, hey, in this video, we're going to be, getting to this particular level, and we're going to try to do it in under X amount of time. I've never done it before. I've gotten close, but this time I'm pushing. I'm going to see if I can get it in under, X amount of time. And not only am I going to do it in under X amount of time, I'm going to do it using limited weapons or using only one weapon or whatever it happens to be, or using a new route or whatever. So the idea is you're basically pitching the viewer, this is what it is that I'm trying to accomplish and why it is that you should stick around to see if I can actually pull this off or not. So what you're doing there is you're dangling the carrot in terms of the thing that they might be interested in that would pull them through to keep them watching your video. Because unless you're really, really good, somebody just clicking and just sitting there and watching, it's not, there's not a lot there because there's nothing built up. There's no like expectation into what it is that you're doing, right? So because of that, one thing that I would just experiment with is basically pitching the idea quickly. You got to do it fast, but pitching the idea of why they should stick around. Don't say you should stick around and watch because of this, but just say, this is what I'm trying to accomplish. This is what it is that I'm trying to do here. And for all the videos that you upload to YouTube, make it about something. It's not just hey, I'm just playing this game. It's I'm trying to specifically accomplish this thing in the game, or I'm trying to show you how to accomplish this particular thing in the game so that you can also accomplish this particular thing in the game. Okay. Or if you're thinking of getting this game, I'm going to go through this game and I'm going to play it. But while I'm playing it, I'm going to talk about, the goods, the bads. I'm going to talk about the things that I like, I don't like. I'm going to talk about good places to hide, bad places to hide. So when you get this game, you already have an edge on when you're playing it. So those are some approaches that I would take. All right. So next up on our list, and I'm going to share the link here in just a little bit. We've been on for an hour now, so about 20 more minutes. I'm going to share a link. If you guys see Roberto or anybody come into the stream, definitely let me know, and then I will make sure to share this out to them on Facebook. Okay. So really quick before we get back into the form. Had a couple other super chats come in. Just want to make sure I get those taken care of. So Bandana Game says, also knowing there are people like you helping the little guys like us is heartwarming and you are appreciated. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And here's the thing, like when it comes to like learning how to do YouTube, the best thing you can do over time, of course, like once you do start having more people come into your channel, best thing you can do is learn how to use your analytics, because then a lot of the stuff that I talk about is going to make a lot more sense, because then you're going to be able to know, oh, this is what he means when he talks about hooking people at the beginning of the video. This is what he means about keeping them watching for a longer period of time. This is what he means about building segues in your content or open loops to where people will keep watching for a longer period of time. Like you'll a lot of the stuff that I talk about just in general will make a lot more sense once you get some activity happening and you start really digging into your stats and trying to interpret what it is that's happening on your channel. But thank you for the super chat. Tiny Orchard Quilts in the house. Hey, on my podcast, actually, you mentioned this in the group too, but on my podcast, I mentioned the quilting thing as well. That was on the last live stream, and my brain just defaulted to it during my podcast. Says, let's see, I got my 10,000th subscriber yesterday. Thanks for all the amazing tips or advice over the last few months. Please plug your podcast. It is full of great info. So Tiny Orchard Quilts, high five and fist bump to you. Congratulations on your first 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's awesome. Absolutely love to see that. And what she's talking about in that podcast is basically my Comments Over Coffee podcast. And it's basically where you can learn about YouTube over a cup of coffee. And I got news. I'm actually working on a video version of that one as well. So a video version for YouTube is also going to be available. It's not going to be something that is like the podcast, the audio version is still priority. But it's just, I'm just making it available for people so that you can listen to it through YouTube or, any of the other platforms as well. But it's going to have a video version. It looks like this, but with different lighting. All right. Next up, we've got Taylor's Mood. Taylor's Mood says, if I hide my subscriber count, does it stop people from subscribing or does it matter? It doesn't matter. Here's the thing. A lot of times people hide their subscriber counts because they're shy about how many subscribers they have and they don't want people to know they're a small channel. So what happens is people are going to click on your videos anyway before they even know how big your channel is. And because of that, that's one reason why it doesn't matter. But the second reason is that when people do click on your content and they go to your channel, they can see the amount of views that you have on your video anyway. And they can even see that from the outside. So because of that, hiding your subscriber count is pretty relevant. Now, I know some places will do it. Some companies will do it. Some artists will do it because they don't want they don't want the whole subscriber thing just to even be a part of what it is that they're doing. But you can see in all their view counts, the people that do that they're just crushing it anyway. But, in terms of like, if you're getting started and you're hiding it because of, any insecurity or just because you don't feel good because you don't have a lot of subscribers yet, don't even worry about it. It's part of the process. Embrace it, right? Embrace it. Be like, hey, you can even make it a thing. Hey, just as a heads, just in case you haven't noticed, I've got 8 subscribers on my channel right now. So, be one of the first 100 to subscribe to my channel by subscribing right now, right? Like make it a thing, make it a part of what it is that you're doing. Embrace it instead of shying away from it. Okay, next question that we have here is from, okay, we got that one already. So this one is from Danny Hatcher. What's up, dude? Danny Hatcher says that the channel's productivity, the gold channel, is to help people work smarter, not harder, using digital tools. And the question is, firstly, I just want to say thanks for all the value that you share through the live streams and videos. Just got over 2,000 subscribers. High five fist bump to you. Nice work. Says, I received an email from YouTube that says I'm eligible for having memberships on my channel. I was wondering what your thoughts are about that still being a relatively small creator. Make them available. Make them available. Offer something. And the Professor Nez in the house. What's up, dude? Hey, Sweeney Dunstan, what's up, man? Nice to see you in here too. World of Vaughn, nice to see you here also. But basically what you want to do is you want to go ahead and activate your channel memberships. You're probably not going to get a lot of people in there yet. And it also comes into how much you push it. So as an example, I don't even mention my channel memberships except on these live streams. By the way, everybody here should be a channel member. I'm just saying you should be a channel member because I have a members only Facebook group that you can join where everybody's hanging out. Everybody in there is really awesome. I do a monthly live stream. You get that cool little icon next to your channel name. And I've got like a bunch of freebies and stuff in there too. So you should be a channel member if you're not already. But anyway, I don't push it except on the live streams to where I just mention it. So, in your case, depending on how hard you go on it, you might be able to offer something really awesome that people will want to, become a channel member for. So because of that, yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and start doing that now, because then as your channel grows, then that will grow as well. You can create a really tight knit community of people that, in addition to taking the content that you're putting out there and the information that you're putting out, they're also giving as well and contributing to what it is that you're doing also. Okay, next up on the list, a super chat just came in, so I'm going to answer this here as well really quick. We've got, okay, Eric. Okay, so next up we've got Eric Aguilar, and says, will I be rejected in YouTube partner program with copyright claim videos? I do guitar covers. Is it bad or is it okay? So technically they say that claims don't impact the channel. However, if you have just tons of claims, it might. Because basically when it comes to the YouTube partner program, they're going to go in and they're going to manually look at what it is that you're doing on your YouTube channel. And if they don't see that you're making original content, then in that situation, then it might sway them in one direction or the other. So there's channels that do covers that get monetized, or channels that do covers that don't get monetized. There's channels that do those stat graph things that get monetized. There's channels that do the stat graph things that don't get monetized. There's channels that do reaction videos that get monetized, channels that do reaction videos that don't get monetized. So because of that, I'm not sure of what the actual criteria is outside of the obvious stuff that they say you won't get monetized for. But in terms of the, hey, if you're doing a cover, you are or are not. If you have a claim, you are or are not. I know strikes can work against you in that situation, but in terms of just claims, I'm not really sure. So you're just going to have to grind it out to that process and then see what happens once you actually apply. You might get in, or they might not do it. It might not be because your claims. It might just be because you're specifically doing covers. So make sure whatever it is that you're doing with your covers, try to do them in as an awesome way as humanly possible, so that when they do see your content, it's like, oh yeah, this isn't just a cover. This is like a really good cover, and they're doing it in a really cool way. So because of that, it makes this cover extremely unique compared to just somebody, you know, sitting there singing or something like that. Next up, we've got D Mogul. D Mogul says, I've been on YouTube for 2 years and I haven't hit 200 subscribers yet. I've tried all the tips. I'm trying to figure out what secrets I'm missing to grow better. Here's the thing, D Mogul. First, if you've been on YouTube for 2 years and you haven't hit 200 subscribers yet, you're not doing all the stuff, right? There isn't a secret. There's not a secret to where it's like, oh, all you got to do is this, and then your channel blows up. The idea comes down to this, man. You have to make content that from the outside people respond to in terms of thumbnail and title, right? So a lot of times when people are like, oh, I'm doing all the stuff, it means that they've put up a roadblock on their development in terms of what it is that's happening on their YouTube channel and what it is they're putting into their YouTube channel in terms of the additional knowledge that they're picking up and skills that they're picking up in order to do everything better. So anytime that somebody mentions to me that they're doing all the things, anytime I look at their channel, what happens is I'll see that they're not doing most of the things. And what that typically comes down to is they're not making the content from the outside appealing or compelling that would make somebody want to click on it. Because in order for somebody to come in and subscribe to your channel, you got to get them to click, right? And then once you get them to click, they have to get something out of your content. They have to get some kind of value out of what it is that you're doing in order for them to commit to what it is that you're doing or want more of what it is that you're doing by subscribing. So what you want to do is you want to think to yourself, what is it that I would subscribe for? If I was watching my content, first off, would I even click on it? If I saw this from the outside, I didn't know who I was. I wasn't the person behind this content. It was just some other person on the internet. Would I respond to this? Would I click on this? If the answer is yes, then you're probably heading in the right path, or you're, biased in terms of, like, yeah, I'd click on it because I made those titles and thumbnails. Of course I would, right? But then once they click on it, you got to think, would I actually sit and watch this content? Is it actually good content from my perspective, right? And it doesn't have to be like the best looking content, but like, is it clear the value that people are getting out of it? Am I grabbing people's attention? Just for the sake of doing it, I'm going to open up your channel here. I'm not pulling it up on screen, but I'm going to look at your channel. Okay. So right out of the gate, I've always been a content creator. As a new content creator, right? This is the title of one of your videos. I've always been a content creator is not going to be something that is for somebody that doesn't have a lot of viewers yet. That's not going to be something that's going to move the needle necessarily, unless when somebody clicks on that, if they do click on it, because you've had 53 people click on it, unless when somebody clicks on that, it is off the charts in terms of, what's actually happening in that video. So right out of the gate, I'm going to tell you this, because you say that you're doing all the tips. So I'm going to tell you right now that I'm watching an intro to where it's just your name, and we are 10 seconds in. Your content doesn't even start for 10 seconds. So here's what's happening. And you can look in your audience retention, and I guarantee you're going to see this. If you go into your audience retention reports of your videos, you're going to see that first 10 seconds, you're going to see your graph just goes like this. It's just going to look like it's just going to be video starts, and then people are just bouncing, right? They're leaving. And that's because you're spending you're spending 10 seconds per video. If you're doing this with all your videos, you're spending 10 seconds per video on something that those people don't care about. They care about why you're a content creator. If they clicked on this because you've always been a content creator, if that's what they're coming in for, that's what they want to know about. They don't want to sit there and watch 10 seconds of your name going like this and then showing up on the screen, right? That's wasting their time, right? That's actually working against you. And that's the opposite of the experience that people want to have when they click on a YouTube video. So the very first thing that I recommend to you after looking at this is, first, take that out. Just say from today forward, I'm never using that again on my videos, ever. There might be music attached to it, and that might be why you're doing it to kind of build hype up for the video. Don't. Just say from this point forward, I'm never using that intro again. I'm just going to throw it out the window. I'm never, ever going to use it again until I hit, 1 million subscribers on my YouTube channel. Then I'll put it in there, because then people will probably be a little bit more tolerant of it. Okay. So from this day forward, just commit to it. Say, okay, Nick, from this day forward, I, D-Mogul, am not going to use that intro anymore until I hit 1 million subscribers on my YouTube channel. Okay, that's number one. Two, when it comes to your packaging, in terms of your titles and your thumbnails, don't think, hey, I'm going to make this about me. Okay, think I'm going to make this about the viewer. I'm going to make this something about them. And I need to think, what is it that I can say that would resonate with them? Right? So I've always been a content creator only matters if people care about what it is that you're doing right now. And right now, for the audience that you currently have, there's people on the internet that would just randomly care as well. But initially, you got to get people to click and involved with what it is that you're doing. So when they see your content specifically, when you say, I've always been a content creator, then they're going to care more because you have people that are involved with what it is that you're doing in terms of watching your videos all the time. That's why people like Casey Neistat, right? If he puts out a video, it says, I've always been a content creator, he'll get 1 million views on it. And you'll get 1 million views on it because people are going to notice that it's a Casey Neistat video and they're going to click on it because he made it and they are already involved with what it is that he's doing. But for you, you got to look at it like, okay, how can I make this about the viewer? And the more that you can make it about the viewer or pull them in, making it about them, but then put your own personal, take on it in terms of how you've been impacted as a content creator as well. If you take that approach to where it's about them, you pull them in and then you give them some of you, then in that situation, that's a better approach to take. But what you want to think about is from the outside, how do you get people to respond? Now, another thing is that you're not focused on a specific thing either. Like on your channel right here, you have something here to where it looks like it's music based, where you're doing something with a sample. And then you have another one here about I've always been a content creator. And then you have another one about editing in Lightroom. And then you have another one about let's talk Canon EOS R5, R6, and Sony A7S III, to where it's a live stream. But basically what you need to do is you need to just back up for a second and think to yourself, who am I trying to get in front of with my videos? Who am I trying to actually target with what it is that I'm doing? And how can I make these videos that somebody else would care about from the outside, that they would be interested on clicking? So for example, you have here the Canon EOS R versus Canon Rebel and 80D. So right there, a camera comparison, and you've got 1,000 views on this one. Right. So in that particular case, you've got 1,000 views on that one. And so people, they did respond to that particular one, and that's listed under music for some reason. So you're also having some categorical problems here with your channel also. But basically, without spending too much time on this, what you want to do is you just want to think to yourself, why should people click? Why should they care? How can I grab their attention when the video first starts, not waste it? How can I grab their attention so that I can keep them watching for a longer period of time and get them more involved with what it is that I'm doing? Because if you focus all of your efforts on making content for a specific type of viewer, then what happens is those viewers start to enjoy your content because everything that you're doing is catered towards them, mixed in with the stuff that you want to do. But everything you're doing is catered towards them. And once they start responding to it, YouTube starts identifying, hey, these people are, like this type of viewer, the person that uses YouTube in this way, that watches this type of content, that interacts with these types of videos. They're watching content like this, but they haven't watched this. They haven't watched it from D-Mogul yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to start showing some of D-Mogul's content that's in alignment with what these people would be likely to watch at this point in time. We're going to start showing some of that, and we're going to see how people respond to it. And then if you have gotten to the point where you can get people to click because your content it's clear who it is that your content's for, then in that case, then the more those people click, then YouTube's going to start identifying, hey, people are responding to this, they are watching. And then that's where things will really start to move for you because you're able to generate that activity, which is what YouTube wants. All YouTube cares about, people clicking on your stuff, watching it, further engaging so that they have a quality experience. All of those things, they illustrate what a quality experience looks like on YouTube. So you want to make sure that you're filling in all of those check boxes, so to speak, in terms of how can I make this as awesome as possible for the people that are watching these videos? And one thing that I want you to think about is, and Roberto Blake, he always talks about this, but one thing that I want you to think about is, why should somebody care about what it is that you're doing? And how can you lean into why they should care about what it is that you're doing? And part of that is by making it about them so that you can pull them in, so that as you pull them in, then you're introducing them to things that you care about. So then you're creating those connections. So then they become part of what it is that you're doing and they watch your content on a regular basis. So hopefully that's a lot of information. So hopefully that helped. Feel free to, this will be public. So, you'll be able to watch this on the replay or whatever as well. But yeah, make sure you, just keep all those things in mind. Okay, so let's see here. D-Mogul says, thank you for the tips. No intro sounds good from this day forward. D-Mogul won't use that intro anymore until I hit 1 million subs. That's what I'm talking about right there. And also, man, like if you've been on YouTube for that long and you're just hitting 200 subscribers, like really go into your stats and start looking at the content recently that's been performing well on your channel. By well, I mean just better than the other ones. So if you go and you look at your top 10 videos on your channel right now, the ones that have driven the most traffic over the last 28 and 90 days, then what you're going to see is you're going to see specific videos are bringing people into your channel. So what that means is when those people are recently interacting with your content, the likelihood of them being shown your other videos that are topically related to those are going to be higher. So then it comes down to you just being able to get them to click or not. So what you want to do is you want to look at some of those newer videos on your, or not newer, but the videos, even if they're old, that people are still coming in and watching on your channel. And then you want to make follow-up content to those and things that are topically related to those so that when YouTube puts them out, that those people are likely to click on them because it's about stuff that they care about because they've recently just been on your channel looking at that type of stuff. Okay, next up, we've got Detroit Scratchers. Detroit Scratchers, what's up? Says, love your videos. Thanks for all the tips. Thank you for the super chat. Glad you are enjoying the content. We've also got Paris Lazarus. That's a cool name. Says, I have a 24/7 lo-fi channel. My tags are good, but having a hard time getting new people into the stream. Any advice for my specific niche? I also have a 24/7 live streaming channel that is music, but mine's different. It's not just lo-fi. Mine is like YouTube video ideas. So of course my market's going to be small for that, but I haven't done anything to market or anything. But it's not really the tags. What you should do in your situation, Paris, is you should actually target a specific search term in terms of like lo-fi music. And by doing that, you're also going to be targeting the topic. So I'm not sure what your title actually looks like for that, but you want to do all the metadata, not just your tags, but you want to do your title and your description and your tags. Completely fill out your description and build it all around like lo-fi music. Maybe put, you know, some of your favorite artists in there, maybe artists that you have in your actual live stream, that sort of thing, for the sake of YouTube being able to identify through the metadata, because, you know, the songs are playing, but they're going to be able to identify through the metadata exactly what's going on with that video, which is going to help it get connected to other videos on the platform as well. So, and show up in search, because right now, like, you need to get some initial traffic going on it, and search is going to be one of the things that are going to help you do that. But by targeting it for search and making it compelling, then in that situation, what you're doing is you're targeting search with it, but you're also making it, a good piece of content to where if it happens to somebody on YouTube, that they are also likely to click on it. Professor Nez in the house. What's up, dude? I hope you're doing awesome. I know you are. Says, just want to say you rock, period. You rock, Mr. Nez. So I got a funny story here with Professor Nez. So there's, and I'm saying this because there's a VR question earlier as well from a VR channel. So we were, hey, Roger Wakefield also in the house. What's up, dude? Nice to see you stopping by. I hope you are also doing awesome. So, D and I are at VidCon, right? We're hanging out. We're at VidCon in California. Professor Nez is there. We're hanging out with Professor Nez, and they have this plank, right? The VR plank. Richie's plank is what it's called, I believe. And he's like, you know, like, hey, let's go do this plank. And we're like, okay, let's go. And we go over there. And keep in mind, 3 grown men, right? We're over there and we're standing in line for this plank. And we're watching it on the TV. And we're like, whatever. Like, why is this a big deal? Why would people even care? You know, why would people even care to jump off this thing? I mean, clearly it's just a game, blah, 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 right? So we're talking all this smack, so to speak. And then it comes time to do it. So I can't remember who was first. It was out of all of this. Basically, we all failed. But basically what happened is we stepped on this plank, we put on the VR, and then we go to the edge of the plank and we couldn't jump. We couldn't make ourselves jump off of this plank. 3 grown men in a row couldn't make ourselves jump off of that plank. It was ridiculous. It was so embarrassing, but it was awesome at the same time just because it was funny. So yeah. So basically we were afraid of a VR game, and we're like there in front of a bunch of people at VidCon, and we couldn't do it. And then right after whoever was last got off of the plank, there was a kid come up. I don't know. They're probably like this tall, and, you know, maybe a little bit more experienced in the VR world. I'm not sure, but they came in and they walked to the edge of the plank, and they just go like this, and they just jumped off the plank, and they went like this, almost like they're trying to go faster or something. I don't know, like they're going to fall faster. But yeah, it was crazy, but good times. I actually have, Professor Nez, I actually have for my Oculus Quest, I got that game for that reason. So now I can jump off of it like no big deal. But my girlfriend, when I first got it, I had her do it. I took it to Starbucks. I had some friends do it. I had some of the staff at Starbucks do it. And some people would jump, but most people actually would not. But ties are actually, I won't blanket them. That's kind of disrespectful, but a lot of the ties that I'm around are they're not humongous fans of heights. So that made it hilarious. Okay, Love Audio Production says, Paul here. Your comment about sticking with the same content on your channel, was thinking of pivoting, but will stay focused 9 away from a custom URL. Nice. Love to see that. So congratulations. I congratulate you early on your first 100 subscribers. Well done. Yeah, it's here's what you got to do. Like a lot of I don't want that to be taken out of context, because a lot of people will think when it comes to sticking with the same type of content, that means you can only make one type of content. It's not about the content necessarily. It's more about the people that you're making the content for. So as an example, if you look at my channel, like I'm going after YouTube content creators. That's who I want watching my stuff, right? So because of that, I can put up videos about mobile content creation, and that's going to resonate with people that do stuff on their phone. I can put out videos about live streaming. That's going to resonate with YouTubers who are interested in live streaming. I can put out videos about YouTube growth, which obviously is going to have like the more wider appeal out of those. But, with all of those things, with everything that I put out for content creators, every single video on my channel is something that a YouTuber can get value from, regardless of where they're at in the process, regardless of how long they've been on YouTube or anything like that. So what you have to think about, and that gives me the ability to be able to make different types of content on the channel, because it's all focused at the same group of people. So what you got to think about in your situation is just think, okay, so I'm making this type of content. It's gotten me to 100 subscribers, which means it can get me to 100,000. So because of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to think, okay, who is it that I'm actually trying to get in front of, which I'm guessing is audio producers. And if I'm trying to get in front of audio producers, what all types of content could I make that would make really good sense for audio producers? Would it be software reviews? Would it be plugin reviews? Would it be, the actual tutorials on how to, do audio production? Would it be, hey, if you're doing audio production, you got to make sure that you are using the right gear. This is how you use the gear when you're doing audio production, like that kind of stuff. So it's not necessarily that it has to be one thing. It just needs to be one audience that you're making your content for, so that your channel becomes a resource for that group of people that you're trying to reach. Deep Desai says, what would be the views to sales conversion rate for a $10 make money online digital product on a celebrity channel like Tycho? I have no idea. No idea, because it's going to be dependent on who's currently running ads on them and how competitive it is with the people that are currently running ads there. So yeah, not sure. And in terms of your view to conversion, that's also going to be dependent on your sales page and, the promise that you have in the actual advertisement and so on before they even click in to actually go to your page as well, because the expectation that's being built up there. So too many variables to even like take a guess. And I would have no idea anyway on that in terms of, that specific thing. Okay, so next up on our list, we've got J. David Slaw dropping the $5. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I'm going to refresh this page here really quick. All right. So I'm going to here in just a minute, because I've been blabbering on here for quite some time. I'm going to drop the link into the Facebook group. We got Roger Wakefield said he's going plumbing. He'll be back soon. Love it. Okay, so I'm going to drop the link here just so that other people, if they're interested in it, they can join the stream. Says, let's see here. Bowen Fullwood Griffiths says, YouTube algorithm, how to grow small 1 million videos. How to grow small 1 million videos. I'm not sure of your question, but I'm going to take a guess here and say how to grow a small channel, how to grow on YouTube, YouTube algorithm ? Okay. Here is the YouTube algorithm in a nutshell. Get people to respond to what it is that you're doing, and YouTube will love you. That's it. So you can take all the complexities that you want. Of course, there's tons of nuances in it, but you can take, the whole complex thing and just say, okay, everything it is that makes the algorithms work on my behalf, all of those things come down to one simple thing: getting people to respond to different aspects of what it is that I do. I can write titles and thumbnails, and the combination of the two that gets people to click, that's a response. They watch my videos for a long period of time, that's considered engagement, which is a response. They give me a thumbs up, that's a response. They comment, that's a response. They share it with a friend on Facebook, on websites, take it and embed it in their websites because it's awesome content. That's a win, right? It's response. So what it is that you have to do is you have to think, okay, how can I get response all the way through this chain? Step one, I got to get really good at getting people to click, because if I can't get them to click, none of the other stuff's going to happen. It's not going to matter. I can have the best video in the world, but if nobody's clicking on it, then my video might as well suck, because nobody's clicking on it, nobody knows. So because of that, you got to develop that first part of getting people to click. And then once you get people to click, because you've spent time watching videos and reading blog posts on how to do copywriting, how to grab people's attention through writing, you've taken some courses on design, or you've taken some courses on like imagery and photography, so you can get, you know, really good looking thumbnails, or just effective thumbnails that get people to click. And you keep proving that over and over again that you can get people to click. Then comes your video, and then they come and they land on your video, and then they're watching your video. And then from there, you got to think, okay, people are leaving my video after 10 seconds. People are leaving my video after 25 seconds now. A few videos later, wow, now they're leaving after, 45 seconds, 15 videos down the road. Hey, I can keep them for like 3 minutes now, right? Another 10 videos down the road. Sweet. I got them holding on for 5 minutes. Right. And you just keep going through that process over and over again, and you just keep working on each part of that chain for the sake of, getting that response through everything it is that you're doing. Same thing goes with the amount of thumbs up you're getting, the amount of comments you're getting, and all of that. There's little things you can do in your content in terms of, like this, for example. If you're enjoying this live stream, if you're getting any type of information out of this and you're having a good time here, you're learning anything or a lot about YouTube, remember to give this video a thumbs up so that other people coming in the stream will know that it's worth hanging out and listening to, because it'll look, as soon as they show up, it's going to look like it's a good stream. And I also saw some channel members come in here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and open that page up also really quick so that I can welcome some of you. So typically I've got like this thing. I'm going to press it anyway. I'll just stretch over here and I'll press it. Okay. So let's see here. We've got some channel members that came in. We've got Cliff Tayley.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. We've got Curl Addict.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
We've got Christopher Bronowski.
Welcome
One more.
to the Nimminati.
And we've got Unbox and Review with Kate.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
What you want to do is next time that you are on Facebook, look for Nimminati VIP. That is our members only Facebook group. If you can't find it on Facebook, or you just don't want to look for it, on the channel page, there's some members only videos as well. If you click on any of those, then you will see in the description of those that there's a direct link to the members only Facebook group as well. So go ahead and fill out all the information on the way in. And then when I get to that, it'll be either tomorrow or Monday. Once I get to that, because it's like here, it's already like almost 10 o'clock at night. So after the stream's over, I'll just be going to bed. But either tomorrow or Monday, I will give you access to the group, and then you can join in on the conversation over there. So welcome to the Nimminati. Happy to get to know ya. Okay, so next up on the list. Oh no, we got that one already. Okay, we are good to proceed forward. Okay, I thought I saw one come in. I did. Hold on. Let me just refresh this page really quick, and then we're getting back into the questions. Okay, so again, from the forum, while I'm waiting for that page to load, we got Danny Hatcher taken care of. Next up on the list, we've got My Paulsome Frenchie. I'm going to guess you're a pet channel. Says, let's see here, dog education. And the goal of the channel is to educate people. And the question is, I have two questions. My first video has over 340,000 views on it, and there is a massive spike at one point, but now it's tapered off. Is there anything I can do to get more views on it and keep it growing? Second, I've niched down, but I find some of the topics do not searched enough or not enough rankings. Would switching out my thumbnail be advantageous, gaining more views for my videos? Okay, so for question number one, in terms of you had a video that spiked up, it got 340,000 views, now it's going down. So in that situation, just so you know, it's typical for videos to kind of go like this on YouTube. It's rare for a video to just drive straight up, right? But it's typical for videos to, they'll get a spike and then they'll go down, then they'll get another spike and they'll go down, then they'll get a bigger spike, they'll go down, then a smaller spike and go down. So that's kind of normal, but that particular video will probably drive you traffic for quite some time. But one thing that you can do is make sure that you go and you look at that video and you have things like a pinned comment to where they can go and watch another relevant video. Make sure you look at your end screens and look at how much people are clicking on your end screens. You can see this in your analytics. Look at how much people are clicking on your end screens in that particular video, and make sure that that video is extremely relevant to the viewer when they get to that last part of your video, to your end screen. Make sure that the video that you have available there is relevant. If you've made something new that's better in terms of it gets more audience retention, then in that case, put that video there and make sure that you track. I changed it on this day. This is how people were clicking on it. This is how people are clicking on it now. So you can keep an eye on that, because what can happen also is that if people go and they start getting to your end screen, they start clicking on that video more, and then they watch that other video for a longer period of time and so on. Same thing with your pinned comment. They're clicking deeper into YouTube is the idea. They're clicking deeper into your channel, watching more of your content. Then in that situation, what can happen is YouTube can identify that when people go in, they start watching that video, then they click deeper into your channel and they get kind of lost in your channel. And then they can actually cause that video to perform better on YouTube as well. I did this a few times, actually, quite a few times. But one time was like a spectacular result. It's such a spectacular result that I talk about it a lot. Like, there's always a gain in that situation as long as you do it right. But the one situation, they had like a 5-video series. They had one video that was getting like 200,000 views a day on it. And we basically went through and we re-optimized that video with all the different ways people could find additional content, sent them into a playlist. It was a playlist of nothing but high performing videos based on the original topic. And when we did that, the next day, that video shot up to 11 million views for the day. So doing those types of things can be really valuable for you in terms of, just helping YouTube do what it is that YouTube wants by helping viewers enjoy your content and find more of the content that they enjoy. So I would definitely make sure that you go in, you make sure that you're, looking at how people are able to find other content from that particular video as well. And also, before they take it away, you might want to go ahead and take advantage of the series playlist idea with that one as well, because that was another thing that we did, but they're going to be taking that away. So you're not going to be able to do that for much longer. And in terms of the rankings, okay. So when it comes to the ranking side of things, that really comes down to research and picking the specific topics that you're going after. So a lot of people will do the video first. Let me know if you make your videos first and then you optimize, and then you put your titles and thumbnails and all that stuff together, or if you research first and then you make your video. Let me know which one it is you do first. But basically, when it comes to the ranking side of things, one of the things that is important is to do your research first, so that you can make sure that whatever it is that you're making is of high interest. And by doing that, what that's going to do is that's going to give you the advantage to just make sure that a majority of the content that you're putting out, because of course you're going to want to just make, the random stuff that you like to make anyway, even though maybe it might not have as much mass appeal, because you think it's important because you're trying to educate people. But basically what you want to do is you want to research the information first, so that you can say, okay, well, there's a lot of interest around this particular thing. So since there's a lot of interest around this thing, now I'm going to take that and I'm going to go and make a video about this, instead of it being the other way around, where you have a video and then you try to force, force optimize that video. All right, we've got research first. Good. Research first. All right, good. We got a couple of researches first coming in here. We've got, okay, yeah, good. Start doing my research first. Good. You guys are taking the right approach. I love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, Long Star Scratching says, the information you provide is very helpful. Thank you. Lone Star Scratching. Glad that you are enjoying the content. Glad that you are getting value here from the channel and the information that we put out here. Okay, so I'm going to move back over to here real quick so I can invite some people into this live stream, just in case anybody wants to come and hang out. So while I'm doing that, I'm going to be over here. There we go. All right. So I had my Facebook open here before. Move this, stop screen, share, copy to clipboard, go here, go to the Nimmin Live. Oops. All right, so what I'm doing right now, I'm not guaranteeing anybody's going to come in. If anyone wants to join, here is the link. All right. Yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure if anybody is going to come in or not, but I just want to go ahead and just put that out there, just in case. If anybody wants to come in, they absolutely can. All right. So now I'm going to need to move back over here again so that I can make sure that I get these questions. So one of the things that I'm trying to sync up, I'm going to have to do it on my tablet. That's what it's going to come down to. I'm going to have to do it on my tablet, to where that way I can have the questions on my tablet, and then I can just move the tablet around all over the place, because I like being able to move back and forth. It just, you know, I don't know, feel good. But what I'm going to do now is I need to open this up really quick. So if somebody does come in, I will see them. Because, you know, that's not cool to be like, oh, hey, come on in, come hang out in the live stream. And then like they do show up and then, you know, like they're not actually able to be in there. Okay. So make sure that this is, ooh, all right. Forgot to hit the button. Shame on me. You'd think I would have known how to do this stuff. I'm a YouTuber for Pete's sake. Good old Pete, right? Whoever's named Pete, whoever started that whole thing, right? Imagine being Pete and you've got like a whole thing like for Pete's sake. I want to know who Pete is. That's what I want to know. If you know who Pete is, let me know in the chat. I'm just curious. Okay. So next up on our list, we have, we got Paulson Frenchie taken care of here. Next up, we've got Digital Motorhead. Nice. Says they do moto vlogs, motorcycle reviews, and how-tos. And the goal of the channel is to provide high quality motorcycle information and entertainment. And I just figured this out and I'm going to doodle with it while I'm answering the next question here because I think I got it. Okay, so let's see here. Motovlogs, motorcycle reviews, how-tos. Okay, the goal of the channel is to provide high-quality motorcycle information and entertainment. And the question is, I have a single video, part two of my beach motorcycle ride video set. There was suggested out a lot of the wrong people for some reason, tens of thousands of people as opposed to the normal tens of people that I get. And it drove my click-through rate on my channel down to 1%. Should I unlist the video and keep it from affecting my channel as a whole, or does each video hold its own weight? Each video holds its own weight. This is a great question because there's probably a lot of people that have a similar one. But each video holds its own weight. Hold on, I got to find the thing to click up here in order to send this to my tablet. Let's see here, iPad 8. Okay, come on, baby. Are we going to get it? Do we have it? Yes. Okay. So basically when it comes to your click-through rate, when you get a lot of views on your videos, you get a lot of impressions, not a lot of views. When you get a lot of impressions on your videos, what can happen in that situation is that YouTube is showing your content to a lot of people that might not be like the ideal fit for it. But with that, when you're getting like tons and tons of views, it's typical for the, hold on, I'm a little bit awkward here. There we go. When you're getting a lot of views, it's typical. Oh, I can't do it. I got to do it with the mouse. Okay. But it's typical for the, for your click-through rate to go down. So for example, if you have 10 views, then your click-through rate can be really high, like abnormally high, to where you're like, oh man, I'm crushing it. I actually just took a screenshot. I can show you because of the because of the setup here. I took a screenshot yesterday just because I thought it was funny, and I thought, hey, I'll use this as an example one day. And that day is now. That day is today. It just happened. So basically, on my video yesterday, so one impression, and I have 100% click-through rate on it, right? So that right there is clear in terms of like, hey, this is something that, you know, it's really easy to have a high click-through rate when you don't have a lot of impressions. The tough part comes from when you do have a lot of impressions, being able to maintain a competitive click-through rate. So first, just to answer one part of your question. So just because you have that one video that drove your click-through rate on the channel down, it's not bad. Each video carries its own weight. Number two, when it comes to your video, you'll notice that in a lot of cases, most cases actually, as your impressions ramp up, your click-through rate goes down. As your click-through rate goes down, your impressions, or as your click-through rate goes up, then your impressions will typically also, you know, reflect that you're not getting as many impressions. So you'll typically see that in most cases. Now, in some cases, you can get crushed with views, also maintain a really high competitive click-through rate. And when that happens, then your videos are just going to crush. Like your videos are just going to be awesome. You're going to get tons of activity as long as people that are coming into those videos are watching those videos for a fair amount of time. And, you know, just further engaging in all the other ways that YouTube likes stuff to happen. So because of that, when you are, when you're looking at your stats, don't get discouraged by your click-through rate if you see it low, if you're getting a lot of impressions. But if you're not getting a lot of impressions, then you want to, be like, okay, I need to take a different approach. Now, one thing to keep in mind also is that when you are uploading your videos to YouTube, it's important that when you are thinking of your the impressions that you're getting on like one video, that you start to actually normalize that across your content. You start to notice and identify what normal looks like on your channel. Because a good click-through rate for me might not necessarily, in the content that I'm competing with in my space, might not necessarily be a good click-through rate for you, and vice versa. So because of that, it's good to get a baseline for your own channel to where you can say, okay, typically by the time I hit 100,000 impressions, then I have on average, my click-through rate looks about like this, right? And then that's going to give you an idea to where you can start gauging good and bad on your click-through rate. Same exact thing goes, you can break that down topically as well. When I do vlogs, my click-through rate is roughly this per 100,000 impressions. When I do fashion content, my click-through rate is typically this per 100,000 or 500,000 impressions. When I do how-tos, it's typically this, per 100 or 500,000, impressions, whatever type of activity you're getting on your channel. Or, you can break it down by 1,000 if you want, based on what it is that's going on with your channel. But the idea is to just get an idea of what is normal, what normal looks like on your YouTube channel. Trying to figure out if there's a way to switch this to where it's coming from the other side. Touch bar, open display preferences, mirror, and retina display. Nope. Okay. Yeah, so we'll just keep on rolling this way then. Okay, new channel member. We got Shark Scrapper.
Welcome to the Nimmin.
Shark Scrapper, welcome to the Nimmin. Make sure that next time you are on Facebook, you look for the Nimmin only Facebook group. And just as a heads up, there's videos on the channel page as well. You can just find it in the description there if you don't want to actually look for Nimmin VIP. But just make sure that you join, fill out all the information on the way in, so that so I can make sure to add you next time I log on to Facebook. Okay, so next up on our list for the questions here is we got Digital Motorhead taken care of. Can I do this? Nope. Yeah, I'm trying to gauge what I can do here. Touch versus having to touch something. Okay, Lil Cringe. Lil Cringe says that they do daily content. And let's see here. They've been on YouTube for a year or more. The channel is making funny mukbang edits and compilations. And the goal of the channel is entertaining people and possibly feeding myself. And my question is, can I even monetize my type of content? It's not mine, sure. But isn't there a line between other people's content and putting in actual value to what it is that you're doing? Because I'm doing my best to put it in as much as I can for myself. Okay. So if you are basically making your content from other people's content, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for you to monetize. I'm not saying you can't because I'm not the person that makes that decision. But what I'm saying is that typically what they're looking for is more original content. So if you're just making content based off of other people's content, then that can come across as like you're not making anything original. And if you're not making anything original, then in that case, there's no, then there's not really a benefit to monetizing you on the platform because you're not really adding anything. D-Mogul, welcome to the channel membership. Same thing for you, man. Make sure that next time you're on Facebook, look for Nimmin VIP, or just click the link in the description of one of the members only videos. Unboxing review of Kate says yay for the Nimmin. Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about right there. Okay, next up on our list, we have Money Cookie 333 Brawl Stars. I think I remember you from last Saturday. The goal is to make money and have a community. The question is, I thought I was going to get a snowball effect, yet after I reached 100 subs, it took me even longer to get to 200 subs. I'm so glad you're saying this. My videos have been getting better, but still growing slower. Why is this? Okay. So there is a myth on YouTube that if you once you cross 100 subscribers, YouTube gets easier. Once you cross 1,000 subscribers, YouTube gets easier. Once you cross 100,000, YouTube gets easier, and so on. That's not the case. It still comes down to the content decisions that you make. It still comes down to the content that you actually make as well, and your ability to get people to respond to that content. Just because you have 100 people subscribe to your channel doesn't mean that all 100 people, all 100 of those people are going to come in and watch your content. It doesn't mean that they won't. It doesn't mean that they will either. It also doesn't mean that you're only limited to 100 views on your channel or on that video, because you can have a huge influx of people that have never even seen your content before come in and watch that video and then subscribe or not. So when it comes to things snowballing, that comes down to you making good content decision after good content decision after good content decision. So what you have to to think about is the people that are coming in and watching your channel, what is it that they're actually enjoying? And this is where using your analytics comes in to be so powerful, is because you can go in and you can see the content that people are enjoying most in terms of the ones that are getting the most views. You can see the content that they're enjoying most in terms of the ones that they're watching for a longer period of time. You can also see the content that they're enjoying the most because they're getting to the actual end screen, like they're getting all the way through your video. So you can see that as well. So because of that, you have all this information that lets you know topically which ones are getting clicked on more. And then once they click on them, which ones are they enjoying more? Like you can see all that in your stats. So what you need to do is you need to just keep making more content that gets that type of response. And the reason that it seems that the myth even came up about YouTube getting easier with certain subscriber numbers, the reason that even is a thing is because by the time you get to 100 subscribers, you typically have more skills under your belt. You typically have more videos under your belt, and you have typically maybe even now have some YouTuber friends, that kind of thing, because you've been interactive in like different communities online. So because of that, you have more behind you when you publish a new video than you did when you started with 0. So if you're somebody now that has, let's say you have 50 subscribers on your channel, if you're like, hey, I've got 50 subscribers on my channel, it's going to be easy once I get to 100. It's not how it works. So if you've made awesome videos all the way to 100 subscribers, then in that case, that back library of content is going to help keep pushing you forward as long as you keep making good content. And as long as you keep making good content decisions, you're serving a particular audience and so on. Because where everything breaks is if you're making a certain type of content, then you go another direction, or you're making really good content decisions and you're like, oh, I hit 100 subscribers, I'm good to go now, I can do whatever I want. Then in that situation, then you're going to be working against yourself because you haven't gotten to that point yet, so to speak. So that's why you'll even see bigger channels that will, they'll get big and they'll do all the things to get them big, but then they'll start making bad decisions because then they start, thinking that it's all about them, or they start thinking that, well, I can just do whatever I want. And then because I'm a big channel, YouTube will, promote my content more, things like that. It's not really how it works. Like you have to keep making good content, and you have to keep making good decisions with your content in order to keep that ball rolling. But the thing that does make it easier as your channel grows, after you get 100, after you get 1,000, after you get 100,000 and so on, 10,000, whatever, the thing that does make it easier is that during that process, you start having this backlog of content, and that backlog of content continues. When you first start and you have, 10 videos on your channel, you only have 10 videos that are bringing viewers in every day, if they're even bringing in views every day. Once you get to 100 subscribers, then you might have a few more videos that are bringing in viewers every day. It might be 3 viewers, it might be 5, it might be 100 viewers or more, but you have more content that's bringing in more people. By the time you get to 1,000 subscribers on your channel, there's a really good chance you've got a nice, small little catalog built up of content that's continually bringing people into your channel. And since it's continually bringing people into your channel, you are continuing to drive watch time, you're continuing to drive views, and you're continuing to drive subscribers, so that when you publish your next video, as long as it's a good content decision, as long as it's good content, it's resonating with your audience, then in that situation, when YouTube presents that content to those people, it's going to present the content to the people that have been most recently engaged in your channel, or the people that are just responding to it the most, that type of viewer. And then based on how they respond to it is going to dictate it more than you just trying to take a stab and just get your videos in front of people that have never even seen them before. So that's where that comes into play more than it just getting easier once you hit that subscriber number.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
All right, next up on our list, we have Adi Srivastava. Hope I'm saying that right. If not, I apologize. Really quick, hold on. I saw a super chat come in. I got to answer that one here really quick, and then I'll get back to this one. Insane McLean says, motivate me, Nick. By the way, I'm editing my first video and putting it up tomorrow. Awesome. On my Law of Attraction channel. Thanks for all of it disappeared. Okay, so I will refresh the page over here. And in terms of motivating you, just keep going, right? If you're just uploading your first video, then man, yeah, just lean into it. Have a good time. Since it's your first, if it's your first video on that channel, just keep in mind, I'm not sure if you're Insane McLean channel. Here, I'm going to look really quick. I think you have content. Oh, no, you don't. Okay. So basically, if you're uploading your first video tomorrow, just one thing I want to tell you is when you publish that video, just keep in mind, it might do great and it might not. So just embrace that. Okay. So hopefully you're going to lean on the side like, yeah, this is going to do great. And then, you're going to adjust or not based on the video performance. But the idea that I want to instill in you is a lot of content creators, before they upload their first video, they'll get this big buildup of like, all right, here it comes. And then they'll publish, and YouTube will just not show it to the right people initially or whatever it happens to be. And they won't be a great response. And then they'll just be like, oh, it just sucks the wind out. Don't even worry about it. Just look at every single video that you're publishing right now until you start getting that momentum. Look at every single video that you're publishing as one more step towards, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish with your YouTube channel. And anything that happens with any of the videos, don't look at it like it's a negative. Just look at it at more of like, okay, I learned a bunch of stuff with that video. Now I'm going to apply it to what it is that I'm doing with my next one. And you just keep, using the videos as stepping stones. Let's see here. The Reaper says, I've been averaging 30% retention rate, but I think people are dipping after the recipe is all mixed together. Sessions to get them to the end. The goal isn't to get them to the end based on what it is that you want to do. The goal is to modify your videos to make them have a better experience. So what I mean by that is what you're experiencing right here is typical. Basically with cooking channels, where they, after they mix everything together, after they share the final ingredient of the recipe, when they start to do the taste test, I've worked with channels to where, like a lot of their content, they spent all this time getting it together. People loved it, but they didn't care what they thought it tasted like. They didn't care about, well, this one has a hint of, I can really taste that garlic. Like, their audience didn't really care. So, because of that, they had to cut that part out of their videos, and their videos obviously ended up doing better because over time they started catering their content more to how people are responding to it instead of trying to force people through the content that they didn't care about. Because what's happening is after you are mixing your stuff together, that's what they came in there for, is to get to that point. So what you have to think of is okay, if they're coming in to get to this point, then what is it that they're really coming here for? And how can I really lean on that so that I can make sure that I'm giving them more of what it is that they're coming in for, so that they will get a quality experience from my content. YouTube will identify it's a quality experience. They'll try to show it to more people like them. Then my videos will start performing better on YouTube. So instead of trying to force people to the end, try to cater your content to them having a good experience. Now, with that said, another thing that you can also do is you could actually extend that part of the video. So as long as, like, you want to respect your viewers' time, right? However, one thing that you can also do while you're respecting their time is you can say, okay, what additional information or what additional things could I share in my video while I'm getting them up to that mixing part, if that's where they're leaving. So if they're leaving during that particular part, you can say to yourself, okay, if I'm getting them, if I'm holding their attention strong all the way up to the mix, is there anything else that would be important for them to know that I can experiment with adding to my videos that would still help me extend the length of my videos if the mixing part happens relatively quick? That would still help me extend the length of my videos in terms of, helping me get more watch time and, just giving a longer video, and also adding value to the people that are watching it by giving them even deeper information than for what it is that they're coming in for before we get to the actual mix part. So that would be an approach to take. But again, leaning really hard on your retention reports, which is what you're doing, and just using that information to say, this is what people care about. This is what people don't care about. Right now, one thing that you can try is whatever happens after the mix part, if there's something that happens there to where it's clear to you, to where it's like, okay, after this thing gets mixed, there's something really important that I need to make sure that I get them to later in the video, then in that case, then maybe tease it a little bit, let them know, like, hey, before you show the mix part, like, hey, here later in the video, I'm going to be, talking about XYZ, or I'm going to be sharing XYZ or whatever it happens to be, so that they can know that more is coming also. Because by doing that, then you're basically just spreading awareness about additional things happening in the video that you might be able to get some of those people to care about. Right now, they might just care about getting to the mix, but once they get to the mix, if they know there's something else, then they might stick around for that particular thing if it's something that they care about. And you can experiment with different things that you're offering past the mix that you're telling people about, so that you can start identifying again what it is that your viewers care about when they are watching your content. All right. Let's see here. Next up on our list. And I saw some super chats come in, so I'm going to hit those really quick, and then we'll get back to this forum. Let's see here. We got Insane McLean. We've got, okay.
Super chat.
Kion Q says, hey everyone, this would be my first time doing a YouTube content where I do anime review for natural ground for first timers and veteran watchers. Goals to create a community and growing my niche. Tips. Okay, so if you are just uploading content for the first time and you are trying to grow a community, the very first thing that I recommend is you go through the YouTube Creator Academy. It's 100% free. It's provided by YouTube. It's an educational resource. It's kind of like an instruction manual for YouTube. So if you're just uploading your content for your first time, I recommend you do that. In addition to that, pay really close attention to your analytics, pay really close attention to how YouTube is treating your content in terms of the impressions that you're getting, because that's going to dictate your success on YouTube. So in order to get more impressions, you have to develop the skills. Like, you might be an awesome anime creator, but you got to get people to click on your anime. So in addition to being an artist, you also have to take your artist and creative brain and apply that to your titles and apply that to your thumbnails as well, in order to make it look from the outside something that people should be interested on clicking on, and be able to identify what it is that they, the value that they would see in your title and thumbnail in order to actually want to click on it in the first place. Teacher Simon,
Super chat.
thank you for the super chat.
Super chat.
Abuelo says, Roberto mentioned you on his stream that 35%, mentioned on his stream that 35% audience retention is the okay/good bar. I think it would be helpful to all of us who don't know what the general bad, good, and great percentiles are. Okay, so Abuelo, here's the thing with that. Roberto has access to tons of data, so if he's found that, then take that information. I like to recommend people that you get it like half. If you're doing like 10-minute videos, that you go for 5 minutes. And the reason that I recommend that is because then you get even more performance out of the video, right? And of course, it's a combination of your click-through rate plus the amount of time people are watching, plus the additional engagement, plus if they're sharing it and all that good stuff. So it's more than just those things, but those things are extremely heavily weighted. That's why they now have, with all the different cards that they show you in your I'll actually show you. I can demonstrate this one to you as well, because I took a picture of this one too, or a screenshot. I've got so many screenshots in here of this kind of stuff. But as an example here, right? Let me turn it sideways so you can see it. Yeah, like this. I'm sure that you've seen these, right? Views on your video are 53% lower than usual as people aren't watching as long. Doesn't say because they're not giving it a thumbs up as much. It doesn't say because you don't have as many comments. It says because they're not watching as long. So because of that, you want to get people watching as long as humanly possible. So what I try to focus people on, and it's going to be different for each type of content that you make, but what I try to focus people on is getting people to watch for as long as humanly possible. Look at 50% as your minimum. You want to try to get to 50% on a 10-minute video. Once you can get to 50%, then you got to keep pushing, right? There isn't like okay, this is fine place. Like, that doesn't exist. Like, you'll find, and with your content, you'll identify that there is like a sweet spot in terms of like, okay, this is acceptable, but acceptable isn't enough. Like, acceptable is not good enough. You have to excel past that if you want to really accelerate what's happening on your YouTube channel. So there's the side of like, okay, this is acceptable. So Roberto has identified that, for the different content that he's involved with his clients, that 35% is acceptable, across the board for them. So that's solid, right? So what you want to do is you want to take that 35 and you want to say, okay, so that's going to be my step one. And then from there, then 50% is going to be my step two, because Nick says go to 50%. And then from there, I'm going to keep excelling, and I'm going to try to get it to 60, and then I'm going to try to get it to 70. And every single minute that you're pushing, it gets increasingly more difficult to keep more and more people in that minute. But you have to, if you want to excel here on YouTube and you want to really turn your channel into a rocket ship of sorts, like, you have to keep pushing the limits on what it is that you're doing and the response that you're getting in order for your content to perform better. Because the longer people watch, the more that they click, the more that they engage, the better your content's going to do, and the faster you're going to have views coming in, and the more impressions that you're going to get on that content, because people are responding to it at a high level. So because of that, to like really get things moving, I recommend that you strive for 50, even though 35 is, it's fine. Strive for 50 as your baseline. Sometimes you're going to go under, sometimes you're going to go a little bit over, but make 50 like you're okay. I got to get on a 10-minute video. I have to get as close to 50 as I possibly can. And here's another thing with that too. I know that some of the channels that Roberto deals with are like high traffic channels as well. So another side of that is the more views that you have coming in, it also becomes more difficult to hold their attention because you're, getting in front of more and more and more and more people. And the more and more people that you get in front of, it becomes increasingly more difficult to hold their attention. So like if you have 1,000 views on a video, for example, then you should be getting 50% watch time on at least 50% on your video. If you have 50,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 views on your video, then in that case, it's a little bit more acceptable to have a little bit lower retention on your video because the amount of people that are coming into the video, they aren't as qualified per se to watch and enjoy that content. You're basically putting out a lot more variables, so to speak, for every additional group of people that come in and watch your video. So because of that, you just want to keep pushing. You just got to keep pushing because the more you push and the more that you focus on getting people to watch for a longer period of time, the better that your channel is going to do. And with that said, right, here's the kicker. With that said, I have a video on my channel with I think it's like 2 million views on it. The audience retention is like 50 something seconds. So food for thought. It's like 50 something seconds. And I think that it is a, I don't know. I think it's like a 15% maybe on the audience retention on it. Granted, it's 2 million views. However, that particular video, it was just a satisfactory experience for the viewers apparently. And because of that, like it still drives traffic every single day, tons of it, because of that particular combination of click-through rate with the retention and all that stuff. Because another thing to keep in mind is YouTube's trying to generate watch time per impression, right? So when YouTube's trying to generate watch time per impression, what that means is you can have a really high click-through rate, but a little bit lower on your retention, but you're still generating more watch time per impression compared to the competition. Or you can have a little bit lower of a click-through rate, but man, when they click it, they watch it for a really long time. So then you're able to accumulate a lot of watch time per impression that way. So, there's different approaches for, getting that watch time per impression in terms of that particular combo. But you want to try to win at both. Right? If you really want to get things moving, like you want to try to win at both. All right. So next up on our list here, we've got another one coming in. I think we had some channel members come in too. I think I saw another channel member too. Nope, we got Sark Scraper. I think that was the last one. Just as a reminder, if you're not a channel member, you should be. Members only Facebook group, monthly live stream, some freebies. Okay. Next up, we've got, let's see here. Hey there, teacher, release first video. Down here. Okay.
Super
Teacher
chat.
Simon. What's up, Simon? Says, hey there, teacher here with a new channel. Could you take a look at it, please? I do teacher stuff, but fun things too, like challenges and vlogs. I'm actually not looking at YouTube channels today, but here's what I can tell you is what I recommend is that if you're on a computer, that you open up one browser tab, that's your channel. You open up another browser tab that's within an established teacher's channel. On YouTube, and you just look visually at what's going on between the two so that you can see kind of what a standard looks like, because the channels that are performing well are setting the standard for the expectation of what's going on in your space. So find one that has some activity on it, and then you want to open yours up and open theirs up, and you want to compare the two, and you want to look for things like, what are they doing on their channel art? Is it clear what the channel's about? Probably is. Do they have a value proposition of some kind, letting people know what it is they're going to get from the channel? Probably. What's the quality of their videos look like? What do their videos sound like? And start doing a little bit of comparison there. Don't compare so much that it's discouraging, but just compare for the sake of like knowing what the standard is because they're setting it. You'll still be able to get, viewers and all that stuff, but just look at theirs for the sake of just knowing, what the standard is so that you can over time strive to, meet that standard or excel or beat that standard so that you can, become prominent in the space around that. But when it comes to YouTube as a teacher, one thing that I do recommend, especially in your case, because you're a teacher, you understand the importance of education, go through the YouTube Creator Academy. It's 100% free, provided by YouTube. I think there's a link to it down in the description below this video. But if not, if you just go to Google and you type in YouTube Creator Academy, it's an entire educational resource on YouTube. It's going to help you with like writing titles, stuff like that. They don't really get the strategy or anything like that, but they do just go over the best practices of the things that you need to be doing on your YouTube channel in order to give yourself the best chance possible here. But I would look at the other channels that are doing well in the teacher space for the sake, though, of just getting that kind of baseline of what acceptable looks like, and just make sure that you're hitting that mark, and make sure that the clarity's there and all that good stuff.
Super chat.
Oh, and really quick, you say that you're doing challenges and vlogs as well. You say you do teacher stuff, but fun things too, like challenges and vlogs. All of that is cool. Just one thing that you want to do as well is while you are doing the challenges and you're doing the vlogs, over time, you want to start looking to see what it is that performs better. And once you define those things, or once you identify those things that perform better, because there's a really good chance that like maybe either the challenges or the vlogs, for example, one of them is going to outperform the other one. So over time, you want to be able to identify which one does better, which one your audience is responding to most, so that you can cater that content, or so you can start basically doubling down on that content, doing more of that, less of the stuff that people don't respond to. You can still do some of the stuff people don't respond to as much if it's stuff that you like to do, and you're just doing it for the sake of the outlet, so to speak. But you want to focus more on, if you're trying to grow the channel, you want to focus more on the stuff that is, moving the needle for you, so to speak, and less on the stuff that that isn't. Next up on our list, we've got Epic Kid Gamers. Says, I released my first video on Monday with 0 subscribers. I already have 41 subscribers. High five, fist bump, great start. And 305 views. What other social media platforms to help grow your channel the most? Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, and others. Okay, I'm so glad you asked that question, especially right now while you're getting started. So when it comes to growing your YouTube channel, what you got to think about, and I want everybody in here, if you're a new YouTuber, if you're a new content creator, you've been making YouTube videos for, I don't know, let's say you've been making YouTube videos for, let's say you have under 100 subscribers. Just give me a hashtag me if you have under 100 subscribers on your channel. But basically, when you are getting started on YouTube, it's going to be tempting to go into like YouTuber groups on Reddit. Now, just a heads up, we have a subreddit as well, to where I hop in there from time to time and answer questions. It's not really active that much, but if you guys go over there and you start interacting there, it will become active, to where I can be in there more answering your questions over there as well. But basically, if you just go to reddit.com/r/ytubers, then that will take you there, or just go to ytubers.com and it redirects you there. But anyway, when it comes to Reddit specifically and Facebook, one thing that you're going to find and be tempted by as a new content creator is you're going to be tempted to join YouTube groups, which you should, so that you get an idea of, the problems that other content creators are having, so that you know that you're not alone in the journey. But what you don't want to participate in is, like, where you're posting videos there and you're having people review your videos and give you feedback on things that, that they think you can do better and things like that. Because what you're doing in that situation is you're putting videos in front of, one, people that don't really know what it is that they're doing. Two, you're also putting your videos in front of people that are not good candidates for your content. And what I mean by that is, if your content were to be presented to them on the YouTube channel page, which it might be if they go in and they watch your content, then they're not going to respond to it if they don't care about your type of content typically. So because of that, if you share your content anywhere on social media, you want to make sure, and this is for Reddit, for Facebook, or anywhere else, you want to make sure that anywhere you share your content, that those people would be a good candidate regardless of where they saw your content. They would typically click on it and watch it. So the idea here, if you're doing gaming content, then what you would want to do in that situation is you'd want to make sure that you're making some content that is made for the purpose of sharing it in some of these places. So as an example, if you make videos on, like, let's say, and I'll just use Call of Duty because I talked about that one earlier. Let's say that you make videos on Call of Duty. Well, in that situation, what you would do is you would make some videos that are help videos. And those help videos, I don't know why I do that. I'm not a fan of when people do that, but I do it a lot myself. Probably that's why I'm not a fan. I don't know. But anyway, what you'd want to do is you'd want to say, okay, I'm making videos about Call of Duty. Typically, I'm doing Let's Plays, but from time to time, maybe every other video or every 3 videos, I'm going to make a how-to video where I'm going to show a specific thing that people can do. And I'm going to use that video for 2 things. One is to target YouTube search. So I'm going to basically look and research using TubeBuddy, or just going to YouTube autocomplete, research and look for things that people are trying to figure out about Call of Duty. I'm going to make a video about that so that I can help those people solve that particular problem. And that's going to be one discovery mechanism to bring people into my channel. Now, from there, what you want to do is you want to say, okay, now I just made this helpful piece of content that I'm targeting for YouTube search. As long as people respond to it there, then YouTube will also suggest it elsewhere. But since this is targeted towards YouTube search and it's a piece of help content, this also gives me an opportunity to add value to a community about Call of Duty. So what you would do in that situation is you would say, okay, I got this piece of help content targeted towards search. Now I'm going to go to Reddit and I'm going to go into one of the Call of Duty subreddits, and I'm sure they get hammered with this kind of stuff. So you have to be careful depending on the type of content you make. But I have a friend of mine, he's approaching 10,000 subscribers on his gaming channel, uploads every now and then, doesn't even take it seriously. And he's approaching 10,000 subscribers on his channel because he does this with the game that he plays. But basically, he will go to the subreddits and he will, he'll write an entire post about, what he talks about in the video and all that stuff. And then at the very end of the post, he'll say, you can watch the, the video that I made about this here. So what he's doing is he's adding value to the community in terms of the text content, and he's putting a link to his video there as well for the people that want to go over there. Every time he does that, some of the time, people will give him a hard time about it. Hey, man, you've been posting your stuff here too much. But a lot of the time, most of the time, people will be like, oh, sweet, thanks. Now I know how to beat this particular character or whatever it happens to be. So what you do in that situation is you have that value-based content that is shareable, where like a Let's Play, nobody cares. Like people in the Call of Duty subreddits, they don't really care that much about, about that. So because of that, you have to make that content strategically for the purpose of targeting search with it and, sharing on social. So another thing you want to do, other gamers that make content like you do on the games that you make content about, go ahead and start following them on Twitter. Jump in the conversation. It might feel awkward at first. You might be like, wow, I'm there's this content creator in here that's got, 1 million subscribers on their channel. And I'm like talking to him on Twitter, just giving my opinions and that kind of thing. Some people are uncomfortable with that, which is silly. You shouldn't be, because everybody's a human being, but some people are. So you want to interact with them. You want to interact with everybody that you can find that's talking about Call of Duty. If you played Call of Duty games, you want to find everybody that you can find on Twitter that's talking about Call of Duty. You want to follow them, and you want to look for interesting conversations that you can add to. And then you can also use that help content, because as you are interacting with those people on Twitter, then what you're gonna find is that some of those people are also going to come and check out your Twitter account. And they're gonna be like, oh, they have a YouTube channel. There's some of those people are gonna trickle over. A big advantage, you have like Epic Kid Gamers. So when you are on Twitter and you're interacting as Epic Kid Gamers, people know that you're a gamer on Twitter as well. So because of that, you'll have some people trickle over as well that are interested in what it is that you're doing, and they'll go and watch. So because of that, share your content on your own Twitter feed, because those are people that you're interacting with around the community based around the particular games that you play. And if they're following you there, then they are likely to be involved with what it is that you're doing in terms of care about the actual games and the how-to content that you're putting out there, as well as, the Let's Plays that you might do. If you're really good, they might come in and watch. So when it comes to social media, just think of it from that approach. Like, how can I interact in places for everybody here, for all the types of content that everybody makes? You just want to think, how can I take this approach? Hey, Daniel, I see you, man. I'm going to bring you in right here in a second. I had the other screen on. But what you want to do is you want to think, how can I take the approach to where I embed myself in the community around this particular topic, and then I make specific content for the sake of spreading awareness about my YouTube channel through helping people through the value that I add in that particular content. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, people with hair, people without hair, welcome Daniel Battelle.
You're getting so much better at these intros, man. It's like every week they get a little longer. There's an extra 30 minutes added to the stream just because of the amount of time it takes you to introduce people.
Well, that's kind of the plan. I'm like, well, hey, man, if I'm going to be streaming for all this time, like I gotta fill in some holes somewhere.
It's
right?
like
I can't just like.
It's like a wrestling match. It's like Sunday.
It is. That's what I'm trying. I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, I got to build out like intros for everybody. I have like Mike Russell do some voiceovers for everybody, like for the people that, come in on a regular basis. So it's like, hey, we like a 30-second sequence that happens when somebody comes on, make it like a big ordeal. That'd be awesome. Hey, we've got somebody else joining the stream here as well. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people with hair, without hair, people wearing hats, not wearing hats, with colorful backgrounds or not. Ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, the Sith Lord of YouTube, the one, the only, Roberto Blake. Striking people down. Striking them down.
Coming and swinging.
Nice. What are you guys doing?
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
Great.
Good.
No complaints. No complaints at all. Nobody ever listens when I complain anyway, so you know how that is.
Yes,
right?
I do. Yes.
Hey, Roberto, man, I got your YouTube starter kit, my latest video, by the way.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
Did you get them the discount code on that?
I'm not sure if I did or not. I don't think I did actually. All I did was I just mentioned it in there. So
Okay.
yeah, so I just mentioned it, and I put a link down in the description. So it's just like a whole thing on like tools for YouTubers. But you know, one of the things I mentioned in there in the graphics section is, of course, I mentioned mine. But then I was like, you know, another thing is you can go to Roberto's, $100. You know, get the YouTube starter kit with a bunch of awesome stuff in there. So you know, that's in that particular video.
Discount code, everybody, is 20 off, all one word, and you get $20 off.
Boom,
Thanks.
boom. Dang.
Nick,
So
please
even a
tell me
discount.
that is your affiliate link. Please tell me that's your affiliate link so we can get you paid on that.
I'm not sure if it is or not. I think it might be. I'm not sure. Yeah, I know it's. I think it's bouncing off of my site. If it's bouncing off my site, it probably is. So how you guys doing? You guys ready to answer some YouTube questions?
Yeah, we're always ready. You know, we come.
You always
prepared.
ready?
He's even got
Yeah,
his
you come
lightsaber.
prepared.
So he
He even came with a
slice through.
lightsaber. Yeah, he even came with a lightsaber. That's how prepared he is. He's like, oh yeah, we got this. All right. So the next question that we have here on the list, and everybody just give a hashtag welcome to Daniel and Roberto here. Karma Cashflow, thank you for the super chat saying morning, Nick and crew. Good morning, Karma. Nice to see you in here as well. So the next question that we have here on the list, let me skip past that one because I just answered it. It says, hey, it's Okami. Hey, Okami says they do gaming content. Goal of the channel is entertainment and education. The question is, should I upload on a schedule or wait until I know a video will do well? Thoughts?
How do you know a video will do well? I mean, I think you can know just by some of the data that's available to us now in analytics, which days your audience tends to be around more, which times they tend to tune in. That's one of the newer features they put into analytics is being under the audience tab. You can actually know when your general audience tends to be watching your content more often. So you can do that. That's what I typically do is the two things I try to do is make sure I'm uploading in a time schedule that makes sense for the people I'm trying to reach. Clearly, if I'm trying to reach an American audience, I don't want to be uploading at midnight. That would be problematic. But you'll try to find those time zones that make sense. The only other piece of information I'd add in there is try not to upload too closely together. There's sort of a transition point where if you're uploading 2 or 3 videos in a specific week, that kind of works. But at that point, if you go more than that, you really have to go every day, or you can start walking on your previous videos and they start competing for impressions. So I usually if I publish something, I'll usually give it at least a good 48 hours to see what it's going to do and let it gain some momentum and not try to crush it within another immediate upload, so that people who are being served one of my videos that's new, I don't want them also being served a choice of one of the other, which means I always lose. I lose. One of them's going to lose. So just think about spacing them out that makes sense. But you can a lot of times look at your real-time 48-hour channel views. And if you see that they're going up and things are going good, take a pause and go, hey, that video's driving views, channel's views are going upward. If you can see that they're starting to trend downward, go, hey, it's about, things are moving the other way in the last 48 hours. Maybe it's a good time to drop another one.
So
Boom.
That's a great answer, Daniel. So I've seen some interesting data, and I did I'd like to do this again, but I did and they were different topics. I did back-to-back 6 videos in a row, and I saw the impressions data. And the thing is, the videos, but again, I wasn't targeting exactly the same viewer with every single video. I have 3 avatars that I target. And so the interesting thing I found is it depends on how narrow you are, because YouTube will not. Here's the thing I want to tell people, and we've been told this, and this was passed to us from Todd over at the YouTube team, is YouTube is not prioritizing sending your videos specifically to your subscribers. And I'm putting together a video where I literally have, I think, 6 creators with over 1 million subscribers each, some with 10 million, that literally say it in their own videos. I'm like getting the clips together of where they tell you, you want to take care of your audience, but you need to, but they don't say this, but here's what I need to tell you. Your subscriber base is not your audience. Look at your data in most cases, unless you're a very small channel, and you will see that more than 50% of your views and watch time come from non-subscribers, which means your audience is the people who care about the same thing that you're making a video about. The end. And if that's the case, depending on the video and the topic of the video, it might have the potential to reach people who've never seen or heard from you again. So the more frequently you upload, the more opportunity you have to reach people who've never heard of you if you look at your data. Now, if your data is saying that you have a tight-knit community, if your data is saying that your views are coming from your subscribers, if you have a personality-driven, loyalty-driven, very niche channel, and you do one thing, I absolutely think give it breathing room and spread it out. But if you are trying to reach whoever cares about the thing you're talking about, and you're talking about things that are in the same vein, the same realm, but not exactly necessarily the same exact person will care about every single upload, it's worth it to have a consistent schedule. I tell people, just for the sake of sanity in their life, especially if you're putting a lot of work into the quality of your videos, 2 to 3 videos a week is more than fine for growth. However, if your content does not have a long turnaround rate, and if it's something that's more like, let's say it was a more news style content or a commentary style content, even in the gaming niche, like let's say you were Fortnite news, then you could do Fortnite news Monday through Friday, and you probably would be okay. If you were doing gaming news and tech, like Rich from Review Tech USA, with some internet tech commentary kind of thing, then there's different stories you're covering and different people will be interested in it, and that will lead to growth. And then you're still personality driven because you're the host of a show then. So if you're the host of a show, and if your gaming channel is a show, like Matt Pat with Game Theory is a good example, then if you're covering different genres, different games, different franchises, those are different people, and it's not your subscribers. And so you could get away with uploading more often. But I just think in life, and you know this, Daniel, from running a company, you know this, Nick, from working for yourself, a schedule just makes you more sane. But not just for your uploads, have a schedule for when you film too, and like when you edit, and just get your life together, and like I think you'll see some results.
Yeah. Hey, Roberto, just quick from the chat. They said your audio level is a little low compared to Nick's and my own. If you can maybe try to
What
give
about
us a little
now?
more heat.
What about now? Because I have more of a soft voice. So what about now?
That sounds better to me. You tell us in the chat if we sound a little more balanced.
Yep.
So another thing too, just as a quick thing, because we've talked about this quite a bit, and then we'll move on. But in terms of uploading on a schedule or waiting until you know a video will do well, I recommend that you upload on a schedule. And the reason that I recommend that you upload on a schedule is just because it gets you into that habit. So like Roberto was talking about in terms of, just building a schedule into your life, getting into that habit of making content creation a part of what it is that you do is really important, because there's a gazillion different things that are always going to be going on. And if you don't prioritize it, then it might be awesome for now, but then when the tough gets going, so to speak, or when it gets rough, I don't even know how that thing goes, but basically when things get hard, then it's going to be really easy to just focus on other things and not, upload to your YouTube channel if things aren't going, exactly how you want at that point in time. It's going to be hard to see it through. So if you build creating content into your lifestyle, then in that particular case, then what you're doing is you're just allotting that time to it. That time is, making the content, but it's also just development in terms of, I'm learning how to make better thumbnails. If I'm not making content, I'm spending that time learning how to write better titles, or I'm spending that time, hanging out in live streams like this, learning more about YouTube, or I'm spending time watching videos on design or making video graphics or color correction, or, anything that you can do to make your videos better for the people that are coming in and watching them. So, in addition to, what it is that you're doing on the platform itself, the idea is just that you want to work it into your life so that you can, so you can make sure that you keep doing it for a while. Because most people that start on YouTube, they want to keep going on YouTube. That's why they start in the first place, is they want to, just make a presence on YouTube, and they want to create a content library that people will enjoy over time. And, that takes time, and it takes effort, and it takes skill development and all that good stuff. So, in order to be able to have all of that stuff happen, it's important to make sure that you commit time to making it possible. So the next question that we have here on the list, fellas, is from the Emoji Queen. Bet she uses emojis a lot. I'm just guessing. I don't know, but I'm just guessing she probably uses emojis a lot. But it's a T channel. This is cool. The goal of the channel just says, I love my supporters. And the question is, how can I get a bigger audience? So I've talked about this a lot here during the stream today, but I would love to know your take, fellas. So Roberto, you want to go first?
Is it a T channel as in different T's like shy and stuff like that? Or are we talking T as in the slang term for news?
I think it's T as in, like Earl Grey.
Earl Grey? Okay.
Or green. Yeah.
So like Earl Grey, English breakfast, chai,
All the
like,
Panera, all the stuff they have at Panera. Yeah, that type of tea.
No, I'm a big fan of tea in the morning. So I would consider making it a morning show. I would consider making it a morning show and seeing if you could somehow tie it to what's relevant in the day and maybe even make puns and then do that. And so people can literally, start their morning with you, just kind of like some of the morning variety shows, some of the daily shows and everything. So I would make your own morning show if you're a tea channel.
Nice.
If you're a
Daniel?
tea or a coffee channel, start a morning show.
You know what I would add to that? Like I always tell people to think outside the box. So if you're doing a tea channel, right, and you're talking about different teas, try to figure out if there are ways that you can take other trending topics and bring it into your world. The reason I'm mentioning that is I always try to think of, I don't want to just talk about the thing in front of me. I want to see the expanded part of the universe where I can find other people with similar interest and we can bring them together. One of the Try Guys, if you know the Try Guys, one of a very big channel on YouTube. One of the guys just started his own tea company. He wanted to see if he could start a tea company with $500, get it made, get it marketed, get it out to people. So as a tea channel, I'd be talking about, the tea from the Try Guys. And now you're going to start drawing in people who are interested in a similar thing, tea, but also the Try Guys. So you can have that crossover. You're talking about a relevant topic that's happening on the platform. And you can maybe reach some people that you wouldn't have reached by just saying, talking about Earl Grey. I'm talking about, whatever the, lemon, whatever tea.
Lemon balm.
Pardon me, I'm a coffee guy.
Try doing the Try Guys tea versus Emma Chamberlain's coffee.
Just versus in general, because then you also get the opinion side of things in there too. I would go old school and I would also just hit YouTube search and look for things that people are looking for based around tea. This is kind of the low hanging fruit. Like what they were talking about is like, more strategic stuff. But just in terms of low hanging fruit, just hit the YouTube search bar, look for things that people are looking for based around tea and start making content around those specific things. And make sure that, you're optimizing those for search, but also make sure that they're compelling enough. So if they just end up getting shown to people on YouTube, that they also, demand a higher response from people as well. Yeah. But I would do that, and I would make every piece of content that you can possibly imagine about tea, so that when somebody does run into your content and then they go into your channel to see what it is that you have to offer, they're just like, oh my gosh, this like anything I want to know about tea is here. So I'm going to definitely subscribe, and I'm going to watch like as many of these videos as I possibly can.
Tea to help you sleep, tea for a sore throat, tea for a head cold, calming tea.
Like Roberto said, the versus tea, tea under a certain price range, McDonald's tea versus Starbucks tea, an honest review of whatever might be in the news or trending or pushing around, those kind of things. Absolutely.
You can even get the science route. This is what tea does to your body. These are free teas to help you with all these different, health things, all that good stuff. There's a lot of different approaches that you can take for that.
You can all right, here's a search hack for everybody and everything like that. You can look at all of Nick Nimmin's title formulas and then substitute it with your subject matter, and that would actually probably work.
Switch YouTuber for tea.
Right.
Yeah.
How to get more tea.
How to get more tea.
How this tea can help you grow more hair fast.
Hey.
See, Daniel knows what's up.
He's drinking tea right now. He's drinking some of that right now.
I'm deep in the French roast.
Benny MB says that, let's see here, they do gaming and vlogs. And the goal of the channel is I post for fun and I want to show my gaming skill and my life. Says how to get more views and subs and engagement from viewers. So basically, when it comes to getting views and subs and engagement from viewers, it really comes down to making content that they love. And that's an easy thing to say. But what you have to do as a content creator is you have to develop over time. You have to make what it is that you think is good. That's where you got to start, because that's the only place you can start, right? So make what it is that you think is good first, content that you would enjoy first, and then start paying attention to how people are responding to that content and modifying it over time. And the better you get at that, and the better you get at writing titles and thumbnails, then the better you're going to get at getting people to click, which is going to create the view. And then in terms of if YouTube is going to continue to show your content to people or not, that comes down to how good you are getting those people to click to get that view. And then once they do click, what happens after that becomes extremely important. So like I just showed on the stream here earlier, fellas, my last video just annihilated, just sucked. Yeah. So like, like here, for example, right? And I just showed this a few minutes ago too, but here they say, 53% lower. Views on the video is 53% lower than usual as people aren't watching as long.
My video did that too this week, Nick.
Did it?
Yeah.
And again, it's not that it doesn't say it's not because they, didn't give as many likes. They're not saying because, hey, you didn't get as many comments on this video. It's all of those notifications that they give you are about people clicking and about people watching. That's what almost all of those notifications are that you get from YouTube. So, those are things that are important. So you have to get really good over time. You have to get really good at getting people to respond to what it is that you're going through the click and the watch. Any additional thoughts on that, fellas?
No, I'm just going to clear out the trifecta that my highest performing video tanked by about 53%. And I got the big notification at the top of my analytics saying, hey, you're down.
Well, they finally come for us, gentlemen. They finally come for us.
Right.
The last thing I'll say, oh, and thank you, Life with Lonnie, for saying the TikTok update was great. Thank you. It's just, it always doesn't feel great when a video tanks, but I also just feel like I made a well-designed thumbnail. That's not the same thing as an effective thumbnail. This thumbnail was better designed than the last two, but wasn't as effective because it didn't drive urgency and fear, which are the two components for the TikTok ban topic right now, to be honest with you. And so I think that my thumbnail was too bright and my expression on the thumbnail was too optimistic for what the video is. So what I will say, since you said you had a gaming channel, but you want it to also be your life and about your lifestyle, look at Metal Jesus Rocks, because instead of doing a gaming channel in the way that, say, the Completionist does a gaming channel, or the way that the Rad Brad does a Let's Play gaming channel, is Metal Jesus Rocks makes it about the lifestyle and about also the nostalgia and about his collection and about his gaming rooms, his multiple gaming rooms. So it's a lifestyle thing. If it's a lifestyle thing for you, then I would be a vlogger that is a gamer, but instead of playing video games, I would also do topical coverage and tie it to that. And I would show, if you're an extreme gamer, see, because there's very little point. All right, I don't want to say this the wrong way, but I'm like, there's very little point of being a vlogger and expecting to grow a YouTube channel as a vlogger if you're not living an interesting lifestyle. And an interesting lifestyle is going to represent extremes. It's going to represent extremes. The everyday life of a so-and-so, that's a niche thing. If it is that, and if it's somehow aspirational or motivational, like you're a single parent, or you have something that you overcome, or you are living life on a budget, or you're a couple and you retired early, those are interesting things that you can still be every day. But if you want to, and it sounds like, and I'm just going to make the assumption that you want to be a big YouTuber and everything like that, you're going to need to figure out how to be the Mr. Beast of, which is kind of like being the Uber of, the YouTube of. It's like, to be frank, those of you who want to be big YouTubers, and the thing is, I don't think most of you should try to be big YouTubers. I think most of you should do your own thing, do what you're capable of, do what you're comfortable with, and not go to extremes. But I'll just tell you, if you want to be a big YouTuber, you have to do something that almost nobody else could possibly do or would want to do, but people would want to watch, because I ain't going to do that, but I'll watch you do that. I would literally do something if I were a gaming and lifestyle channel. I would literally, I'd build an arcade in my house, like a straight up arcade, and not just by buying the one-up old school nostalgia arcade machines, but I would literally find the arcades that are closing down in the pandemic. I would literally go to auctions, and I would even vlog it and buy actual gaming cabinets. And I would even make it a fun and make it a meme that I make my friends, when they come over to my house, I make them put quarters into the machine when they want to play. I would make it a meme or a joke that I'm I'll spend all of this money on games and stuff like that, but I'm extremely cheap about everything else. I would make it a gag. I would literally kind of live my life playing it for laughs if I was going to go to that thing. Just like Mr. Beast just bought an island. It's like, I bought a dozen gaming cabinets at auction. Now, great. You know what, Roberto, I don't have the money for that kind of thing. I know. That's the other thing with being an extreme YouTuber. If you want to go viral, is it's an investment. If you can't do something like that, I would literally go garage sailing and yard sailing for old school nostalgic games and then make it about being cheap and doing that or something like that. I would do game challenges where it's like I made my friends. Oh, I made Zoomers play 80s video games. I made Zoomers react to the original NES and make them play NES games. I would do something interesting like that. I would be as interesting as possible. And what is interesting is not what is normal, is not what is mundane, is not what is average. It's not what I can do myself. Why would I watch you do something I could just do myself and experience it and have the experience for myself? You have to create an experience for a viewer that is so interesting and so compelling and so unique that they can't ignore it and that they have to share it with everybody they talk to that day. And that's how you become a big YouTuber. And that's my end of my rant.
That was good.
It's a good rant.
Love a good Roberto rant. So I was looking, so I was setting up my soundboard today and or Stream Deck, but with a soundboard thing in there. And I was specifically looking for a Roberto attack song. Like I haven't found one yet, but I was specifically looking for a Roberto attack song when Roberto when he comes at him hard. Like I was specifically looking for that song, but I haven't found it yet.
Find gamer like
we may have
boss
to write
music.
Right.
Find gamer like final boss theme music.
I was looking for battle themes. That's what I was looking for. I was looking for battle themes. So I'm like halfway there, but I just haven't found the right one yet. So really quick, I have some super chats that were brought to my attention that I didn't address here during the stream. So let me answer these really quick. The first one is from ASMR Dreammore. Says most of your videos targeting new YouTubers. Are you planning on making more content for established creators too? So basically, I put new YouTubers in the title, but most of the stuff that I talk about, it applies to most channels because even a lot of larger content creators don't study this stuff enough to even know a lot of the stuff that I even talk about that's targeted towards new content creators as well. But I don't specifically target newer content creators because I'm targeting YouTubers as a whole. However, when it comes to the people that need the most help, it's the people that are just getting started with this stuff. So I focus more on them, and the market isn't there in terms of the larger content creators for me. So basically, when it comes to me publishing content on my YouTube channel, the pool is much bigger for people that are coming into the platform than it is if I'm like, hey, if you have over 1 million subscribers, this video is for you, right? Because then the amount of people that video would resonate with would be a lot less. And typically those are the people that are investing in like courses and things like that because their YouTube channels are generating income and they can get deeper information that applies to them elsewhere that isn't necessarily on a YouTube channel. But I know that Tim Schmoyer just started targeting channels over 10,000 subscribers because that works better with his business model. So he just started targeting channels over 10,000. So just as a heads up, you might want to check out some of his content as well. And then we got let's see here. Kenneth Turner says, I have a PC building and tech Instagram with over 23,000 now, started YouTube to do longer form content. How do I move that audience to YouTube? Desktop gaming is the Instagram. So when it comes to moving your audience from Instagram to YouTube, I recommend that if you're not already, that you start putting together some IGTV content and then start letting them know through that IGTV content that you also have a YouTube channel with that as well. If you already have a large base over there, you can also use your stories to push people over as well by using the swipe up. So I would put like teasers on there or sample clips, so to speak, and then encourage people to watch more on your YouTube channel. Now, with that said, I wouldn't totally create a roadblock of sorts. I would put some content there on Instagram because you're already doing that anyway. I'd put some of the content there. So it's not like, oh, well, you have to go here to get any stuff from me. But I would just make it to where some of the content to where you build it up a little bit. Like, oh yeah, we weren't really, like some of the setups that we have over here. What was the content again? It was tech. Let's see here. Desktops gaming. Okay. So if it's like, like desk setups or whatever, then in that case, it's like, yeah, you got to go to the YouTube channel so you can watch like the full walkthrough on this thing. Cause I only have a limited amount of time here on Instagram, like that kind of stuff to get them over there. Thoughts, guys?
You nailed it.
When they say desktop gaming, do they mean desktop PC or were they meaning like tabletop gaming?
Give me 1 second and I will let you know. Instagram.com/desktop gaming.
Yeah, because I've done both of those. You guys know that I'm an avid card game player. I also used to play Warhammer. If people don't know about that, D&D. anything from White Wolf. I was like actually really a pen and paper gaming. I used to even do MUDs, so I could give some perspective on this specific type of thing.
Yeah, it's like desk setups, PC setups.
Okay, so
like that kind of
basically
stuff. Some
like
really cool
setup
stuff on
boards.
here.
It's basic-
I'll actually probably end up following this because I
sounds-
love. Huh?
Send that to me because I'm obsessed.
Okay.
All right, so basically this is like setup wars. I would really kind of push it almost like in the direction of being a show, but also I would do a lot of breakdowns, and I would also do buyer's guides. One, those get a lot of views and clicks but it's also a buying audience, so you can do a lot of money on the affiliate marketing. You could do a lot of money on the affiliate marketing from PC parts. The Amazon commissions went a little bit down on them, but the thing is, I would make a combination of videos where you do the setups and you do these desktop setup tour videos, but then I would also do some parts builds and breakdown videos, and I would
Brian G. Johnson in the house. Sorry, Roberto.
Yeah. What's up, Brian? And I would cross-reference them. And part of the reason is I would do some cross-referencing. And again, I would do some versus videos too. And I would put prices in the titles of how much these things cost, because that actually gets clicks. Mr. Beast talks about this a lot. And I learned this also, us in Tech YouTube talking about camera gear. We learned that putting prices in the titles for camera gear works really well too. So I would do that and see how the view performance does. But I have a feeling that if you reference the stuff and you call it out, and there are links to all of these PC parts into your builds that go to like your Amazon or Newegg or BH Photo Video or whatever your affiliate links are, I think that you could probably, using this strategy and using a playlist strategy like what Nick talks about, I think that even if you don't get a massive jump in views, you could get a massive jump in the revenue. So I would look at that.
Daniel?
Nope, you guys covered it. I have
Getting
nothing to
people on
add.
Instagram okay, there we go. Okay, so we got that one taken care of, and then we've got Mike Phillips just saying, hey, key growth metrics: drink water, eat M&Ms, shave your head, be more Nick-like, #winning. Love that. Thank you, Mike. And Karma Cashflow says, good morning, Nick and crew. I think we got that one already, so we are now caught up. Fantastic.
You got a new member in there too, Nick.
And let's see here. We've got living in San Antonio, Texas. Welcome to the channel membership.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to membership. Welcome to Nimminati. Make sure next time you're on Facebook, you look for Nimminati VIP. That's our members only Facebook group. Fill out everything on the way in to verify that you are a member. In addition to that, if you don't want to look for that, you can actually find a link to it directly in the members only videos on the channel down in the video descriptions. All right. So next up on our list, we've got Warrior Patrol. Sounds like a cool name. Warrior Patrol says that it's a gaming channel. The goal is to grow my channel with subscribers and views. Says, how can I get more views and subscribers on my channel? I think we did that one already, actually, but we've talked about that enough, so we'll move on. Christelle Artist Stella says that they have one upload per week or more. It's an art channel. The goal of the channel is to inspire, motivate, and eventually teach art to others. And the question is, how do you keep your channel secure from hackers? Does YouTube assist if your channel does get hacked? So yes, they do. They do assist, but you have to exhaust all the channels in order to grab their attention. But they do assist if your channel does get hacked. They do have a community forum that you can go and post in, and then somebody will get back to you there. You also want to make sure that you're on their subreddit. You want to make sure that you are tweeting at them, like the whole nine. So Roberto just put out a video about how to protect yourself from hackers. I recommend that you watch that because it's pretty in depth. In addition to that, I also want to say that I had a friend of mine here locally in Chiang Mai. His channel was actually one of the ones that got hit last week. The Budgeteers is the name of the channel. They've got like 100 and something thousand subscribers. They do like epic travel content. And with their situation, they basically went through those avenues, and now they have like a dedicated person. Just so you know what happens on the back end, they have a dedicated person right now that's working with them to, one, identify exactly what happened, and two, to go through the process of helping them get everything restored and everything back to normal on the channel. So they said specifically that it's going to take a little bit of time, but they are working on it in the back end, and they have people that are dedicated for that specific job of working through channels that have been hacked. And I know John Prosser, he also got hit, but I haven't talked to him about what happened. Did you talk to John?
I have,
Roberto?
Yeah, I have, and it was they bypassed two-factor authentication through a SIM swap, and so That's why I've been recommending getting either a Google Titan key, or for those of you who it's not available to be delivered in your area, I've been recommending the UB key. I linked it up in my video. And I talked to Shannon Morse, aka at Snubs, we've been talking a lot about privacy, security, hacks, and a lot of stuff for a long time. Actually, she actually used a lot of my stuff to help them grow the Hack 5 channel, which is another channel. And she's a real cybersecurity expert. They actually went and consulted for Mr. Robot so that the hack and stuff would look authentic. And they actually built some of the hacker tools that they used on that show that were actual real hacker tools. So she knows exactly what she's talking about. And I'm pretty good about security stuff, but I went to the top for that. And that's why I made the video. So I hope people keep watching and sharing it. It's super scary. I talked to John about it. He was devastated. And the restoration process, I want to get him on the podcast or on a live stream to talk about the restoration process, because they still haven't they got the channel URL back and it's back up and running, but the archive still hasn't been fully restored. The restoration and migration process, that's very difficult. Josh, the drummer, who we were just talking to in Twitter today, Nick, we were congratulating him because he's about to hit 100K. I helped Signal Boost getting his hack channel on YouTube's radar, and they took care of him. But it took a long time. It took longer for him. He wasn't as notable in the community, and not as many people retweeted. So I did my part, and I specifically quote tweeted when his channel got hacked, and I think that might have, helped. I don't know. I just know that sometimes YouTube pays attention to us, the educators. So I'm happy to Signal Boost when a creator's having a massive problem like a hack.
Yep.
And what happened with him was, I think it took a month or more for his channel to be restored. The good news for him, though, is his channel itself wasn't, after it was restored, it didn't see problems in continuing to grow, which is something I've been worrying about and trying to study. When people lose their channels and get back, what happens? And in fact, he recently had a video go viral. So the good news is his channel was not only restored, but his channel is whole, which is something to think about.
His video, just for reference for everybody watching, he published a video last week, and he's got 1 million views on that particular video. Drove him 10,000 subscribers over the course of the week. So he's approaching 100,000 on his channel right now. So he already makes awesome content. But getting his channel restored, I think what Roberto is getting at is getting his channel restored wasn't a thing that is a permanent damage to his YouTube channel. He was able to recover. He's fully back in swing, and everything is pretty much back to normal on the channel. So it sucks, man. Like for people that have to go through that, man, that completely.
It's like having your house robbed in a different way. I mean, it's like having your store, or rather, it's like having your store burned down and then hoping the insurance comes through. That's the better analogy. Yeah. It's like having your store, your family business, your store is robbed and burned down, and then you're hoping the insurance covers it.
And not to mention, the great analogy, it's like standing in front of your store and watching it burn, and there's nothing you can do. When John was hit, just to get answers, because there's a process. I was able to put John in a immediate conversation with Todd Beaupre, who escalated the situation himself, which was helpful. But it only gets it in front of people more quickly. But then it's still a process where they have to sort of figure out what's going on, figure out how to do some damage control, and then get it all back.
And they have a very limited amount of resources. People don't realize. People think YouTube is a bigger company than it is because it's the second largest website in the world. They have 5,000 employees. For scale and comparison, Facebook has about 128,000. Twitch has 7,000. Amazon has 800,000 employees. Just to give you a sense of the scale here, Google has over 120,000 employees. YouTube is 5% of its resources committed to serving 200 million content creators and 2 billion monthly logged in users. They have a lot on their plate, and I'm not making excuses for them. I'm just saying realistically, when you have so many issues, and then when you have these hacks, they have a team of 20 people round the clock losing sleep to try and do what they can, and they're spread thin. And
well, there are also
it
a lot of them
sucks.
are working remotely right now too, because we have still dealing with virus. While we hear it, I want to take a long time here, but there was something you glossed over quickly that I think everyone in the chat should be aware of, because I bought a UB key. Can you quickly, Roberto, explain what SIM swapping is and how a key can be helpful?
Yes, there's a detailed explanation on my video, and then I also linked to Shannon's video where she goes in depth on this. But basically, the way that it works is by some means, and this is also a problem if your phone number that you use for the phone that's tied to your online accounts, if it's on the dark web somewhere, then that's a problem and you're vulnerable, and you should probably assume that that's true. But I monitor that. But if they have that phone number and they tie it to your identity, like let's say you use your real name on your YouTube channel like we do, then you could be targeted, because unless you talk to your phone service provider, and by the way, never, ever, ever, ever tell anyone in the internet, and never make it public knowledge who your phone service provider is. Do everything to keep your real phone number unlisted and off the internet if you can. But if it just happens to be, out there, it is out there. And again, you want to not tell people your provider, because if they know your number, it's tied to your real name, and they know your provider, they can use information, if you're a public figure, to probably try to impersonate you and then say, hey, I lost my phone, I got a new one, or I got a new SIM, I need to transfer it over. And then what happens is, and that's how the SIM swap is initiated. Now, you would think that, oh, well, don't they need a security to bypass stuff on my account? Well, especially in times like Corona right now, a lot of people trying to get you in and out there, get you moving along, and unless you specifically put a passphrase on the account and demand that, they don't always offer it depending on who your phone provider is. That's what's scary about this. And so this is basically what happened with John, because his real name is out there and somebody was able to reverse engineer him, right? They were able to social engineer this whole thing. And so they end up having the SIM number changed. What that means is that now they can go ahead and they can try and trigger a forgot password with your login. And then when the two-factor authentication kicks in, and it would normally send an SMS, a text message to your phone with a passcode, the hacker is getting that. And then they're logging in as you, changing your password and locking you out of your account, and then running amok. And so that is what a SIM swap is, and that's what social engineering is. And so that's why there's a couple of things you have to do. You have to make sure that people don't know your mobile phone provider. You might want to even use your social media accounts with a phone that people don't even know exists, and not use the same phone number that you use for calls and personal, and if you can't afford that, then what you want to do is you want to get a key, a physical key. So there's a, let's see here. I have one that I bought for a review, because I actually have a Google Titan key, and I'm going to kind of do a comparison. So this is a physical key, and this physical key would replace two-factor authentication. In this case, this can plug in to an iPhone because of the lightning cable, and it can plug into an Android device because of the USB-C cable. It can also plug into a Mac laptop because of the USB Type-C. So this key is essentially universal in that way. Google has one that is NFC and Bluetooth, and I believe this also has NFC as well. So again, this on your keychain saves you a lot of heartache, because instead of it being tied to text messaging, it's tied to a physical token. Okay, so physical protection is your best bet when it comes to guarding against something like a hack. And if you get the UB key, this can be the two-factor authentication for all of your accounts, and not just your Google-related accounts. If you get the Google Titan key, you can lock down your Google stuff, and that's great. But this is a little bit more universal, and this might afford you some more options. And for those of you who are not in the United States or places that Google Titan will ship to, then this gives you an option, because we had friends like Beanie and so on and so forth who can't get Google's Titan key delivered to them in Australia because for whatever reason they don't ship there. You might have a issue getting it in Chiang Mai, Nick, but the UB key is Amazon, so you can get it. So I'm sorry that took longer.
No, that was great. So with that, if that gets lost, then what happens? Like if I lose my keys, if that's on my keychain, for example.
So what you're supposed to have,
or if I travel and I leave it at home.
Okay, so for one thing, so beyond that, and that's a great question. So the other thing you have is you have a couple of options, and there's more than one authentication process. So there's also app authentication, which basically is kind of a QR code based thing. There's also the fact that you can request and be giving these long factor passkeys that you can copy and paste and save somewhere. You just want to make sure that that's copy, pasted, or even printed out somewhere that you feel won't be compromised, and then you can
kind of like
these
Bitcoin. Yeah.
Yes,
Kind of like setting up your Bitcoin account. Yeah.
exactly, and then you put that in, and so that's your other alternative when you're setting up your security protocols is if you don't have that physical key, then you're going to use these long form codes, or you're going to use the app QR code system, and that's going to be your methods of taking it away from SMS messaging and your phone being able to be social engineered through a SIM card swap or by other means. Also,
Nice.
avoid phishing emails. Anything that sounds like it's coming from YouTube and is a triggering email is a scam. I'm straight up telling you, anything that's a triggering email subject line from YouTube is
Some
a scam.
sponsored stuff also.
Also fake
basically you want to never click on anything directly out of your email. Some other things that happen too is people will reach out and from your perspective it'll look like, oh wow, this company is like wanting to sponsor me, and they'll even put prices in there. They'll say like, hey, we want to give you $8,000 to make a video on your YouTube channel, and you might see that and think, oh, I could use $8,000, and then all you have to do is authenticate through their site so that they can verify your demographics or whatever is what they tell you. But basically, like as soon as you click that button out of your email, if you're logged into your account, then they, essentially have the opportunity to gain access to your account so they can control it. So it's just really important to make sure that you're mindful of everything that you click on out of your email account ever for any purpose, for any email that comes in for the sake of that. Even when friends send you emails, like this is going to sound weird, but even when friends send you emails, if it's about your YouTube channel, be careful because you don't know if their account got compromised and then you end up getting something like that. If you get a Skype message from a buddy and they're like, hey, I need your, something about your YouTube channel, whatever, like never, ever under any circumstance, like fall for any of that stuff. I try to get Roberto stuff all the time. I'm sending like Skype messages, Facebook messages. Hey, Roberto, this happened. Hey, I need your YouTube channel. He's like, nice try, Nick. Nice try. Not today, Nick. Not today. Okay, next up we have Oz Boss. Oz Boss says, I want to reach others through my work is the goal. It's a storytelling channel. And the question is, I don't know why some days I gain 5 subscribers, but some days not even 1, and I do not get views sometimes. What can I do? So Daniel, you want this one?
Yeah, listen, it's the nature of the beast on YouTube. I always tell people the growth trajectory on YouTube is not linear, and it's never going to look like a straight upward climb. It's going to look like the stock market, and depending on where your content's getting served, to who it's getting served to that day, if it's getting served to more people who are already subscribed or new viewers, or which pieces of content that have a higher conversion factor or stuff that has a lower conversion factor. If the one thing I tell all creators is don't press your nose so closely against your channel that you're asking those questions. I got 5 today, but I only got 1 the other day, and I got 6 the other day. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. You're growing your channel. What you need to do is step back and look at the overall growth trajectory of your channel and see if the things that you're doing are moving that channel forward. And if they are, just keep working on the channel, keep doing those things. Try to repeat the successes on your channel. If you have videos, you can go into your analytics and see which videos have better conversion, which videos have driven more subscribers. Right under the analytics tab, that big graph at the top, click see more underneath. It'll show you which videos you can rearrange those lists by number of subscribers your videos have driven in that last time period, whichever one you select. So start looking at some of your content and see which ones convert better, and try to follow up or make more content like the ones that tend to get people to subscribe and convert people from viewers to subscribers.
Boom. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people from all over the world, colored backgrounds, I'm talking Thai. That's Thai. Actually, my is like, no. Not colored backgrounds, good cameras, bad cameras, mobile content creators, live streamers, video content creators. We'll even throw podcasters in there for the heck of it. Benji Travis.
Man, we need official theme songs, like us regulars.
Working on it, man. I'm working on it.
Good to be
Yeah.
here. Thank you so much. What's up, Daniel? What's up, Roberto?
Hey, Benji.
What's up, man? Happy to have you on. Hope that you are doing well. Yeah, so I'm working on I have some songs already. Roberto is the next one on the list. I'm trying to find a good battle theme for him because he always comes in and just like, you know, shoots it straight in terms of like sometimes he just comes right at content creators and lets them know what it is they need to know. But I want like an epic underlying track for some of that stuff. So that's next on the list. But yeah, I'm working on some custom theme songs. I might even have Mike Russell hit him up and be like, hey dude, I need like full intros, you know, like the whole nine, just to go ahead and get it to that place. So we'll see.
Sure. Maybe I'll have to get one of my people on it too. We got some people that can create beats.
Nice.
Guys, actually on that note, let's have a conversation about a business idea after the stream.
Okay. Always open for ideas.
Word.
Diamond Painting with Stacy says that, let's see here, they've been on YouTube for less than 6 months. They do craft content. The goal of the channel is to share my enjoyment with others. And the question is, good morning, and your channel is amazing. Thank you. Says, I did my first live stream yesterday and I lost sound halfway through it. When this happens, is there a way to fix it without ending the stream? And is there a way to figure out why? So, Benji, since you're new on the stream here and you're an avid live streamer as well, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, first off, it happens. Okay. And when you're live streaming, it's the nature of that form of content creation. So just know that even with my setup, I have this crazy setup in this detached garage, and I had David from Live Streaming Pro set it up. We still actually cut out all the time. It's really annoying. So we're upgrading things, and building a computer is a great example of how to fix problems with live stream. When you build a computer and you have an issue, you have to literally go piece by piece to see what's wrong with it. So it just all depends on your setup, number one. Two, practice makes perfect. Like, as you keep doing this, you're going to learn and get better, just like we have. In terms of getting reconnected, I'm actually not really that well educated. But what happens to us is we literally just let it ride. And if it's a computer issue, even a connection issue, we'll sometimes get patched back in. And I would love to hear your guys' thoughts, because I'm not that familiar with the technical bit of YouTube's back end. But it's as if YouTube knows it happens, so they like reconnect you into your stream. I've actually had that happen. And then they post and content that comes out of my live streams, it'll patch it all together, which is like a miracle of YouTube. So that's my explanation. But again, it depends on what you're working with, what your connection is like, and you really just have to go through the headache of figuring out each little problem. But there's nothing better than practice and researching other people's issues on YouTube as well.
And getting to know your gear. Getting to know your gear is also going to help you, troubleshoot a lot of that stuff, because, and I understand like people like new to live streaming, there's just a lot of stuff. There's a lot of moving parts when it comes to live streaming. If you're not just hitting the button and then going live from whatever device it is you're on, then there's a lot of moving parts. So because of that, getting to know those moving parts is important. For example, in this live stream today, I have a soundboard over here because I'm redoing my setup here to make it just a little bit more, a little bit cooler here for my home setup too. So basically, I have my ATM Mini that I'm routing the different cameras through, and then I have my Stream Deck that I'm also using as a soundboard. And I thought, and I've done a lot of live streams, and I thought that I had everything set up here correctly, but apparently when I hit these buttons, they're not feeding through. So I could hear them coming through mine. I could hear everything going through to where I thought that I had it set up, but I made the mistake of not testing. So like one thing that can be really valuable for you if you want to make sure that you nail it every time is set up another YouTube channel, something that is not your main YouTube channel, and use that specifically as your test channel. So you go live there, it's public, and you can let people know about it or not, but you go there live, it's public, so you're actually running through YouTube systems as well. And then that gives you a chance to put all your stuff to the test and make sure everything works the way that it should. And you can listen with headphones, and you can make sure that what you're doing on your end is going to be coming through safely, through the other channel that you're testing on. Now, with that said, sometimes things just go wrong. Sometimes you accidentally hit a button. You don't even know it. Sometimes something will just kind of mess up somewhere. In that situation, sometimes you can just fix it live. Like if it's just the audio, like in your situation, then, you know, sometimes you just might need to go in and adjust a setting and just try to troubleshoot it on the fly, which can make you feel like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened to me. Oh gosh, you know, I got people on the live stream. But just embrace it. People understand that it's live. People understand that, you know, things do happen like that in real time. It's kind of the beauty of live, is you just have to embrace those moments and just kind of take it for what it is, and then just try to troubleshoot the best that you can on the fly.
Yeah,
So
that's the best advice you can give, Nick, is literally try it out before you go live privately. And we did that in the beginning of the VI show. We would literally go live the whole show. This is how pro level we want to bring our audience. And I would have people in literally different countries look at it, listen to it, and just give me feedback. And then we would go live with the actual show, because then not only can you test how you sound and look, but also it stress tests your gear no matter what your setup is. So great advice.
yeah, and other problems that we've had too. Right? Go ahead. What were you saying, Daniel?
Think about the platform you're using too. One of the reasons I know that we are currently using StreamYard, and we've done this a bunch of times, Nick, where Nick's camera will shut off in the middle of the stream. So he has an issue to deal with. That's very common.
Not anymore. Upgraded that camera yesterday. Yeah.
But because of StreamYard, he doesn't get booted from the platform if there's an issue with his connection or with his camera or with the internet connection. If someone else is in the stream continues because it's hosted through the StreamYard server itself on the platform. So you're able to have some levels of security of controlling what's going on. Also, Nick is a guy who has, and I do too, several microphones or cameras, so that if something dies, you can switch to another one. So you have multiple sources. There you go, right there. And here's a perfect example. StreamYard allows you to physically, instead of going live, you can actually record your stream instead of putting it live to a channel. You can do the same thing that Benji was just talking about, have an entire stream just like this. It's going nowhere but recording, and then download it and take a look at it and see what it looks like. And it never went anywhere. It never had a chance of accidentally going live. You just recorded the whole thing, review it, tweak it, get it the way you want. And then when you've got it dialed in, go for it.
We've had that happen too, in terms of testing the stream first. We've had it happen to where we've tested it locally through recording and everything, like, it seemed fine or whatever, but for whatever reason, as soon as we hit live, this happened in Streamlabs OBS. When we would go live, we had some animated graphics we were using and things like that, but for whatever reason, when we would hit live, the animated graphics would break. But when we were just recording, there was no problem at all. But when we were live, I don't know if it's something in the software that it was like doing something different. I'm not sure. In terms of just recording it locally versus, pushing it out. I don't know. On the technical side, I have no idea. But it would, impact it differently there as well. So yeah, just testing it in all the different ways that you possibly can, so that you can, just give yourself that advantage of, trying to be ahead of the problems before they occur. So the next one on our list here, we've got Van Jing Together is the name of the channel. And the question is, it is a food travel lifestyle channel. The goal is to grow a YouTube channel and make more memories together. And the question is, how do we come up with better titles that work, or that would rank us better in search results? Thank you. So Benji, do you want to take this one?
Well, I'm for food. I can relate to you because I create food videos. I share my recipes that I cook for my family, and it literally all starts with the YouTube search bar. So one mistake that a lot of creators make is they assume what other people are searching, or they don't assume at all. So they literally just think, hey, this is a video I'm interested in. I created some content around it. I'm going to make the video and put it out to the world. And they're literally just guessing. So what I do is I do have a recipe in mind, but I don't really decide on the title until I do the research. So I literally go to YouTube search bar and I start typing things in related to my recipe, related to the food I'm cooking. For example, I just put up a 3 recipes from one piece of chicken video. And so I literally just typed in all these different related phrases, and I search what's trending, what is actually ranking for different search terms. I personally use another tool called vidIQ. I know you guys use TubeBuddy, and I'm just doing that research. And so that research can take about an hour. And what you're going to find in the process of not just doing the research and seeing what YouTube and other tools like that pump out is you're going to actually see what's getting views. I like to look at the views per hour of videos. Oh, I just recently learned this. I'm sure you guys all do this on a normal basis. One of the guests on my other show said they only look at search results within the last year. So things that were uploaded within the last year, because they feel like that would be like the latest and greatest. So I've been doing that
last year and last month.
Yeah, exactly. So going more recent, because I think that that's important. But yeah, it's just tons of research. And unfortunately, it doesn't always work every single time, even if you have a great video, if you're just getting started. So kind of like what you said, Daniel, you just have to kind of focus on your own growth at your own like rate, or with your own momentum, and just keep doing it over and over and over. So the one thing I will say to end this though is even though I've been doing this for 10 years, I've pumped out, I think, almost like 170 food videos. I still treat every single video as if it was my first video and nobody cares about my channel.
Yes.
I literally assume that the recipe and the video could literally get lost to YouTube if I don't do every single little thing to it, just like I would teach somebody that's just starting out. So that behavior and those principles aren't just for people starting out. It's actually important for everybody to do it, because eventually the algorithm's not going to be very friendly to you.
I find that content creators, and Benji, let me know your thoughts on this. I find that content creators who find a little bit of success get too comfortable, and they take the viewer for granted because they think, oh, I have subscribers now, so I'll be okay. YouTube stopped prioritizing subscribers in 2015. It's subscriber counts are a feature unlock, community vetting, gatekeeping metric, and they're a marketing metric, and they're also, I would say, the number of people who are raising their hand, being kind, and say, hey, I've been served at least once by this creator, but that doesn't mean I signed up for everything that they're putting out, or if they start making stuff that's not relevant to me. I think people take their viewers for granted. Once they get a few subs, they think that they're safe to make whatever they want without putting the viewer first. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I think that subscriber count does matter in some respect, just because, I mean, like, you can have a viral video when your very first video with no subscribers. But I do think that for channels that do have a subscriber base, it does give you that advantage of having those people that are involved in some way in what it is that you're doing. And some of those people will have the notifications on. Some of them won't get the notifications when they do go out. But, you know, there is that certain number of people that just kind of adds a little bit to that bottom line, so to speak.
I agree with you that the core community of people who support you will subscribe. I think we've all just had enough experience, and there are exceptions to every rule, by the way. I think we've all just had enough experience to a point you made earlier, Nick, of like, if they signed on for something and you just go your own way and you decide you're going to make a life update video when you're not a vlogger and that's not what they signed up for, at that point, I don't think having subscribers matters, because they got the notification and they're going to be like, what the hell is this?
Totally agree.
I think you can't ever take a viewer for granted.
The only exception would be that over the course of growing those subscribers, okay, let's say that you have 100,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel, right? Or 50,000, well, let's just say 10,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel. Sure. So you have 10,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel, and I'll just keep going lower. No, I'm just kidding. So you have 10,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel. Out of those 10,000 people that subscribed, there would be a small sample of those people, depending on, you know, the personality, that would actually care also. So it's like, hey, if I do start vlogging, there would be the people that you'd be able to filter out that would be like, hey, you know, they're going to take a left turn with this channel, but, you know, I dig them as a content creator. I think their vlogs are also entertaining because they've already gotten to know your personality and all that stuff. Now, that can happen just from them watching your videos a lot without them even being subscribed. But I think that, you know, with them being subscribed, that just gives that little bit of an advantage, so to speak, of the possibility of those people being more involved with what it is that you're doing.
And not to get too deep on that point either, but one other thing is the physical clicking of the subscribe button, the action of subscribing. Nick had actually posted up a really great podcast in his VIP group that was an interview with Christos Goodrow, who's the head of search and discoveries of VP engineer, where Christos says, you know, nowadays YouTube is measuring two different potentially conflicting points of interest, which is, you know, engagement, if people are clicking and watching your video, but they're trying to introduce satisfaction in there because they've realized that not all views are created equal, right? And some people might sit up all night watching a movie that was very mediocre, but that doesn't mean they love the video. So they're trying to, really decide satisfaction. And one of the things beyond likes, beyond sharing, is do people click the subscribe button when they watch a video? It's just another small portion of trying to understand the viewer. Are they satisfied with a piece of content? So, Roberto's absolutely right that subscribers as a metric is something that's it's a very vanity number. Like, look how many subscribers I have, and it does unlock features, and it does have some relevance. But overall,
I'm mostly saying it doesn't determine your views. I'm mostly saying
where it's at. Views, if you can get people to click and watch, everything else comes into play. It starts to fall into place.
I'm seeing small YouTubers get literally hundreds, if not thousands of times more views than they have subscribers. And then it bothers me to see so many people obsess about subscribers and trying to tie that to a correlation to views. If a small YouTuber can get astronomically more views than they do subscribers, then why do you expect that having a bunch of subscribers automatically will get you views when you're larger, when you've grown? If you were a small YouTuber and you were getting more views than you ever had subscribers and that brought people to you, then it was the content and it was the topic and it was what they're interested in. Why would that change because you grew your channel and you have subscribers now is the thing that I'm trying to help people mentally disconnect, because it seems like they're playing the game. And one thing, like Benji said, like when nobody knows who you are and you know that no one cares and you see that number, you know better. And so you fight for everything, but then you take it for granted and then you play the game differently when it's like, it's no different for the viewer. And when they click a video, they don't know how many subs you have.
I got one more thing to add too, Nick, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
So going back to the original question about how to title to get more people to view their videos. And this actually doesn't matter what niche, but it works obviously with food, travel, and lifestyle. There's two ways to look at a title. And one is the way I kind of looked at YouTube from the very beginning. And it's a utility title. So like literally what the title says is what's in the video, what you expect. This works a lot better, obviously, for educational videos, informative videos, updating people. Like, for example, if I'm teaching a chicken recipe, I'm saying like easy chicken recipe, right? And that's a very utility. The second type of title that I think is even more important these days and has become more popular. In fact, this is the big takeaway, hopefully for that person, is psychological type of titles. Like what pulls you in because you're interested or you're curious. So instead of me just saying easy chicken recipe, it's like, you won't believe this secret chicken trick, right? And people are like, well, what's that secret chicken trick? You're still teaching them that same chicken recipe, but you're pulling them in with a different strategy. I find this works really well. I know that you do this well, Nick, on your channel. I've seen it a couple of times where literally you're not necessarily telling them exactly what the video is about. It's kind of around the topic. And this is the magic of the algorithm. If it knows that it's serving these people for these search queries, even if it's not in the title or in the thumbnail, no matter what the dynamic is, it'll still put it in front of people because for whatever reason, you know that in their mind, they're thinking this certain thing and there's certain images that trigger like them clicking on it after they do that search. It gets really technical and geeky, but you know what I mean, Nick, when I say like psychological, like getting the human.
Compelling, right?
Compelling. Yeah, it's basically thinking like, okay, what is it that I can do with this title that would resonate with the people that I'm trying to reach? It's not necessarily just saying like this is what the video is about. It's how can I approach this topic or this thing that I'm talking about in the video in a way to where it'll deeply resonate with the people that I'm trying to reach with this piece of content. And by taking that approach, what you do in that situation is you make it to where, sure, if you have it search targeted, then you can get traffic from there as well. But another thing that becomes very valuable when you are taking that approach is then you make it a very powerful piece of content when it just gets presented to people randomly on YouTube when they didn't even expect to watch it in the first place. Because, if you're targeting something from the utility perspective that Benji just talked about, and I like that's a great way to frame that. But the utility perspective, when you're targeting search specifically, then, taking that can be extremely effective because you're just competing with just like a handful of videos, you know, in those search results. But when you are on home pages, you're being suggested next to other videos on the platform. Then when you try to have that deeper connection with people through the way that you're titling or packaging your content as a whole, then what you're doing in that situation is you're making it powerful wherever it happens to people on YouTube. If it's on their homepage, next to other videos, search wherever, then it connects with them wherever it is that they happen to see.
And if anybody watching this wants to see an example, Nick, one of your last videos, you do this. You need these things. Every YouTuber should be using these. Like, what is
that video tanked? I didn't do it well. Yeah, I didn't do it well. That one tanked.
Let me explain something though, right? Like I have no judgment on the video. You know, we have like good days and bad days or whatever. But the reason is that video title and thumbnail doesn't explain anything. So that's purely a psychological like play. Like you're trying to get people to be like, well, what are those things? Like, you don't know if it's tools, you don't know if it's tactics, if it's strategies. And so that might not rank necessarily, right? Because again, it's not attached to any like specific search phrase or term. But the point is, I know, Nick, you probably were thinking through this. I see this all the time with your channel. You're just trying to get people curious. Now, my suggestion for people is just starting out. See, Nick's allowed to do that because he's an all-star, right? People just love, like, Nick, when you go on my channel, like always the views go up, everything. But when you're first starting out, I'd say it's a balance between utility and psychology, and you use the thumbnail and the title to do that. So the utility could be in the title itself, but the thumbnail, the images are what gets you pulled in, right? Compels you to want to click through, or vice versa. You can put the utility with the image and like, you know, some text in the thumbnail and put the psychological pull or whatever is interesting in the title. So yeah, I didn't want to call you out, Nick. I just thought ironically that last video was completely a good example.
Nick did the right thing. It just didn't land because by the way,
and I changed that too. Like it did say tools in it, but I just changed it recently. I mean worst fit 10 out of 10, 10 out of the last 10, and I expected it to be better, but people aren't watching it for long either. So just all the way around. I actually, because I haven't edited my videos in like a while. So I was like, you know what? I want to get that creative itch out there. So I edited that video too. And I should have just let the guard do it because people are watching it for less. But I'm also using chapters in that one. That's the first video with chapters as well. So that might be a part of it too. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, I should have just let the guard handle it, and then it would have probably been a much better video instead of me trying to get my creative self in there, because I don't think it's
even the way I watched the video, by the way. I don't think it's the way you edited it. I'm convinced that it comes down to something that Benji alluded to with combining utility with psychology, is that both of those are tools to frame expectations. And I think that your title, and I can't think of a better title for what you have right now, maybe like we can workshop it after this, but like, I think that your title didn't do justice the value of the video and what it gives the viewer. And I think that for your videos, Nick, and you say this all the time, everything is add value, add value, add value. And I think that for the type of content that we make whenever we try to help creators, it has to be about what is the most valuable and urgent thing to content creators. And I found that with, I'll use YouTube.
If it would have been a view video, it would have been a hit. Like if it would have been a how to get views or how to grow your channel, it would have been a hit. It would have been gangbusters.
Subscribers, growing fast. We know you're stable, Nick. You're but everyone should make a stable. Everyone should make a stable. But here are the horses in Nick's stable: grow fast, get more views, get more subscribers. Why you're not growing, tools to use, and
you're missing one about feelings. I attack feelings sometimes too.
Yes. And then, yes, the emotional triggers. Yeah. So again, but those are like, that's most of like, I think I got most of the horses in the stable, but it's like, so like there are like 10 horses, probably specific horses in Nick's stable. And there's probably 10 really good keywords or title formulas for each of those 10 horses. And so Nick has what I refer to in keyword research and everything like that. Nick has his top-down 100 strategy. You know, Nick has his dream 100 when it comes to his keywords. He knows what 100 keywords in YouTube he would want to rank for, target for, and he knows those 10 values and objectives that the viewer has that they want, and he has 10 ways to hit them with that and go after that. So Nick has unlimited combinations of content that he can make. And
I'm a content creator. Like with everything else, I'm a content creator. I know what content creators feel like, so I can tap into that too. You know,
experience.
I know the awesome parts about it. I know the parts that suck, and I know I like from going through the process. You know, it's like we all know, everybody on the screen right now, we all know the parts of when you're first publishing those initial videos and trying to get the ball rolling, how frustrating and that thing can be, and the learning curve they have to go through and all that stuff. Like all aspects of it, I think is also something that I try to tap into as much as I possibly can.
But squeeze in here one more time because I gotta go. But I just again, like on the flip side, I want to show a thumbnail on your page, your video library that really works. I don't know if Nugely can get it up, but you uploaded this about 3 months ago, and the title is "How to End Your YouTube Videos the Right Way." Okay, so I put up a screen share right there for you guys. And then, so that's the utility title, right? People want to know how to end their videos. The psychology is you're doing it wrong. So the first thing most people are going to catch is that image, like, what am I doing wrong, right? On a search. By the way, I don't know if people search that often, but I'm sure enough people search it because he's got 37,000 views. So that is a great example. And let's pull it up one more time, just so like you guys can see, like they come full circle with this. And this is like why Nick is one of the masters when it comes to that utility psychology balance. And I don't know if I'm sharing all your secrets here, Nick, but literally this is what I'm talking about. So,
why are you doing this to me? No, I'm just kidding.
no, but the last thing I'll say, I'm going again. Sorry we're riffing on this. I think it's so important. You can get it back to me mutually. Is because with titles and thumbnails, it should literally take a third of your time. And I'm not just talking about like working on it, the actual thumbnail, the image, or thinking about the title. It's like that research. We spent, I don't know, like almost 10 minutes on this question, answering it. It isn't something to discount. This is why I'm ranting so much about it and using your channel as an example, because you can't just like give a like 30-second, 1 minute answer. You really have to dive into it. It's like a course in itself. So, that's why I want to share with your audience who knows you so well, what is actually happening. This is what Nick is doing to you when he puts up a video, but it works. And it works for so many other things. And the last thing I'll say about your thumbnail title example here is the opposite. So you're talking about the right way to do it in the title, but in the thumbnail, you're going complete opposite and you're going the negative. You're going, the contrast too. I've seen that work. In fact, I get confused sometimes when I'm looking through my feed and I see other channels do it. I'm like, is this a negative video or positive video? I don't even know. And that even makes me
And that's enough to make you click.
Exactly. So, I got to go, guys, but I love that question. And I love like how we are all thinking through it and even using Nick as an example. Nick, you never have to defend yourself, bro. I mean, like you're killing it. And that's that's the last thing I want to say too, using you as an example. Part of being successful on YouTube is once in a while, you don't get a hit. And you learn from it, right? And you adjust, and it's okay. I've had plenty in the last 10 years of me doing this that have completely tanked. I spent tons of money on it. I went above and beyond editing it. I had this one video that I literally spent like $1,000 fixing some kind of, and I'll just leave you with this last story. It was with one of the highest profile YouTubers I had ever interviewed, right? Sean actually went to this person's house with me. But in the background, it showed what street they live on. So I paid somebody like a ton of money to try to edit that out and make like these fake trees in the windows and everything. Literally took like 8 months to get that video. It didn't do anything. It didn't do anything. So you just never know. And then once in a while you put out a video, like I put a lasagna video the other day, and I was thinking, I get like 30, 50,000 views. It's got like 120,000 views. And I would have never thought, because there's so many better lasagna videos out there, but you just never know what's going to click with the audience. So repetition and consistency, do not discount that, because everybody you're seeing on this feed right now are the masters of that. And when you have one that doesn't work out, it's not fun, but you just move on. It's like on to the next one. So
yeah.
Benji, thank you so much for hanging out, dude. Thank you for sharing your knowledge on here. Massively appreciated. Once the stream is over here, because we're going to be done here relatively soon as well. So once the stream is finished here, I recommend everybody go over to the Video Influencers channel. They're going to be going live, I think, in about 20 minutes. So, so as we're wrapping up, I believe they're going to be getting started. So I really recommend that you head over there to kind of keep the conversation going. So Benji, thank you so much for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you. Peace out, you guys.
Have a good
Take
stream.
care.
Thank you, Benji.
You know, Nick, that thumbnail that Benji brought up, it literally
Man,
gave
I'm
me
just
two,
getting beat up here. Come on, guys.
it gave me,
I'm just kidding.
listen,
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
It gave me
I'm just
two
giving you a hard time.
ideas. It gave me two really good ideas. And so I'm gonna start outlining these videos now. How to start your channel the right way. You're doing it wrong, and how to start your YouTube videos the right way, and talking about retention, hook, drop off, first 30 seconds, intro, no intro, blah blah blah. Nick, something else for you and anybody else, whenever you're doing these new YouTube chapters, something really helpful, everybody, is in like 15 to 30 seconds or less to give a summary somewhere early in the video in terms of that table of contents. You don't have to call out that there are chapters down there, but people will know. And because the thing is, I found that you can get people to watch longer when they're looking forward to something, and the chapters actually help them. And when they scrub over and they see whatever you labeled those chapters, they're like, oh, I can't wait to get to that. And I'm like, I'm not going to skip. Or I'm like, people think, oh, they'll skip ahead. It's like a lot of times people are like, no, because I want the context. I want that thing, but I'll wait for the context because like I don't want to have to rewind. And then sometimes also,
you know what, Roberto,
people do like rewinding.
The chapters are actually, YouTube's come out and said it, that currently they're actually using those chapters to help for placement in Google. So like if you have
I've seen it already, yeah.
you have an entire video about, you know, the particular dishwasher or something, and this is how to, you know, load the suds into this dishwasher. That's a piece of that video. If you've got chapters in it, so this is how you load the detergent
all
in.
How to, all listicle videos, all product review videos are going to, over the next like 6 months to 2 years, are going to have very significant gains from this. I'm already seeing it happen, by the way. Like,
yeah, we end up with being, you could be a snippet on a Google homepage for, you know, how to load, you know,
really quick, while you guys are talking about this, I'm going to step away here for 2 minutes. I will be right back.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
So listen, you know, one of the other things that while you were talking about that's really important that Benji's, and I know this conversation's going long on this one topic about how to, you know, it started with how do you optimize a title to get discovered more in search. I love the compelling element of it because I think you and I, Roberto, are huge fans of Mr. Beast, who I always say over and over again, nothing that Mr. Beast makes, even though he drives 40 million views on a video, is very searchable. Like in some of his latest videos where I ate the largest piece of pizza in the world. He became
searchable because I actually look him up in YouTube trends. And this is what a lot of big YouTubers do, is they use the sensationalism to make themselves the keyword.
Right. But the topics when they make a video, when Mr. Beast makes a video that says, you know, I bought an island, people aren't coming onto YouTube and going, you know what, I want to see if anyone made a video about I bought an island. But what it is that's the ultimate compelling title, right? Nice and easy, big, you know, graphic thumbnail that ties that together. The packaging is great. And people go, holy crap, Mr. Beast bought an island?
Yeah.
And now they're compelled to watch.
Yeah. Someone can't start with that though. And here's why. Because here's what Mr. Beast did, and no one talks about this because people don't dig into his back catalog. I study, you know that I literally, you know that I'm actually, I have an app that can do this for me. The problem is the resources. I might literally on another computer that I'm not using, or I might have to figure out what the bandwidth can do. But I can basically download Mr. Beast's entire YouTube channel catalog for research purposes. But instead, what I've been doing is I've been going to specific videos of his. For one thing, I've actually downloaded and watched because I'm planning a series. I'm planning a series where I actually am going to react on my YouTube channel to all of Mr. Beast's old YouTube advice from before he hit 100,000 subscribers. Nice. And I'm going to see if it holds up today. So I'm going to literally be reacting to YouTube advice from Mr. Beast, from everything he said as a small YouTuber, and see if it holds true today. And because I want to prove a point. Everything that Mr. Beast has done and said, none of it is anything we haven't been saying for years. And that's not taking any credit away from him. I'm trying to tell people it's not some great mystery. It's not some great mystery. It's not this mysterious, dark, secret art. You don't have to necessarily, I make the joke, but you don't have to make the appropriate blood sacrifices to the algorithm. You don't have to perform the blood oaths and the proper rites. You don't have to do the ritual.
No sheep need to be harmed.
No sheep need be harmed in the growth of your YouTube channel.
Unless you have a sheep shearing channel, which
all
we
right,
can pay
PETA.
yeah.
All right, PETA, get off my back already. But all kidding aside, and I've had conversations with the largest creators on the platform about this. And one of the main things is they've all taken advantage of momentum. You just need one video. And if you decide to not take that one video for granted and say, oh, I've made it, but you use that video as a data point to learn, like almost obsessively, and you take
if I was a filmmaker, I would make a YouTube video called All It Takes Is One, and the entire thing would be about one video, one person in the audience, one, like basically like all it takes is one moment of like a good idea or like whatever. Like all it takes is that one video based around like a good idea that you have, or not even a good idea. You could just wing it and put out, that one video that people just happen to love. And it literally changes your entire life because you just made that one video like Roberto was talking about that, that ends up just like skyrocketing on YouTube or just performing exceptionally well compared to your other content and literally put you on the map, so to speak.
And the problem is everyone's praying to go viral. Everyone's praying to go viral. I mean, I'll tell you something interesting. I mean, and not everybody is this, and everyone's going to make 2,000 plus videos. Where Gary Vee never went viral, honestly, not on YouTube. He went viral on Instagram. He went viral on Facebook. He went viral on Twitter. He never went viral on YouTube. And even when he had 1 million Twitter followers, I was there and I remember. And for 9 years, he was stuck at like 27,000 subscribers. It took him 9 years to get 27,000 subscribers. This man is a self-made millionaire and was giving out advice and making content and traveling the world. And he couldn't, it took him so long to even break 100,000. I almost did it first. Like Sarah Dici almost did it first. It takes the understanding of how you're going to do the most interesting thing you're capable of doing with what you have. Mr. Beast, there's a story because he and his mom had a lot of tension because she wanted him to be successful, and he grew up in Greenville, North Carolina. I grew up in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Daniel, how much time did you because I know you've been in a lot of small towns and places and stuff like that. It's like, where did you grow up, if you don't mind me asking?
I grew up in a small town in New Hampshire, so a little farm town in New Hampshire is where I spend most of my youth.
And Nick, where did you grow up?
The Natty.
The Natty.
Rep in the 513.
Yeah. The 513. All right. Mm-hmm. So I grew up in small towns in the South. I had a military dad, so we were always bouncing around. Mr. Beast grew up in a small town, very similar and not that far away from the small town I grew up in. So Mr. Beast and his mom got into it at a certain point because he had been trying for years to become a YouTuber. Is all he wanted since he was 12 years old is to be a YouTuber. And so when he was 18, he went to college, and then a couple of weeks in, he quit college and he didn't tell his mom. He didn't tell her. And if you have ever grown up in a small town, you know that when you're in a small town and everybody's working very minimum wage jobs, not making a lot of money and doing labor, you know that education and, going to college and getting out and making good is everything to the parents, to the community, and even some of your friends. Like if you don't go to a good school, then you're the townie loser, you're looked down on. So it was a big deal for him just decide that he's going to just not do this and that he's going to try and do everything to make it as a YouTuber. And she said, if that's how it's going to be, you're going to have to move out. Because she was trying to give him tough love. She was trying to say, it's not that she didn't believe in him, not that she didn't support him, but she was not convinced. And there was no reason for her to be convinced. He'd been trying this at that point for 6 years with nothing really to show for it. He'd been trying for 6 years with nothing to show for it. I want you to understand this man's story, this young man's story, okay? And because just 4 years ago, Mr. Beast had 8,000 subscribers. 4 years ago, 2016. 2016, Mr. Beast was a small YouTuber, just like so many of you watching right now. And like had to move out from home and figure out what he was going to do. And by the way, the pressure around that situation is when he made the video that blew up. He made the counting to 100,000 video because he was like, I got to do something extreme. I got to do something no one would ever do, because this was back in his phase of trying to go viral, of trying to get attention. So he had to do something no one would do, that anyone theoretically could do, because he had nothing. He wasn't making money on YouTube. He couldn't give away money. He had nothing. And he was going to have to move out of his mom's house. So what could he do? He could sit in his room and he could count to 100,000. Nobody here is willing to torture themselves the way that Jimmy Donaldson, Mr. Beast, tortured himself to go from 10,000 to 100,000. And that's why he blew up. And then on the back of that,
I think that that's a really good thing to just put a highlight on for a second is for the people, because I know like there's probably a lot of people hanging out in the stream that just they're not trying to like blow up per se. They just want to like create like a community and stuff like that. But for the people that are like I want to blow up. I want to have like a humongous YouTube channel. Like in almost all cases, there's like some serious sacrifice involved in terms of just all the different things that you have to learn and develop and do. And in that situation, like with Mr. Beast, how he had to do something extreme and keep doing extreme things in order for that to work out for him as well, which it's worked out wonderfully. But you have to make sure that you are considering, like, if you're like, I want to be like a YouTuber and I want to do this as a thing, like or a content creator in general. I want to be somebody like, of influence on the internet, so to speak, or in the world. Like there's a lot that goes into, a lot of sacrifice, so to speak, that goes into that, and a lot of work that goes into it. And you have to really be able to look in the mirror and just, ask yourself, like, what am I willing to do? All right. Like how much am I willing to actually put into this in order to make this thing happen, if that's something that you're really wanting to go after. And
I don't think for most people, I don't think it's a reasonable thing to do. I don't even think it was reasonable for him. It just happened to work out. But that's also there's this and then I'll leave it on this note and we'll move on to questions. But there's this thing that I forget who it was, but a creator was talking about this, and he was talking about basically how roulette works. And he was making the point that God, I wish I could remember this creator's name because it was such a good point. But basically, imagine that Nick, you and I are in a contest, and the roulette wheel says there's let's say that there's 20 slots on the roulette wheel, and one of them says Nick gives Roberto $10,000. But every other slot on
I don't know if I like this game. What do the other ones say?
But all the other ones say if it lands on this, Roberto gives Nick $1 or even $10. Let's say $10. Let's say it's $10. So there's 19 out of 20 chances that I'm going to give you $20. You realize how many times I could spin and lose that it actually makes it worth it? Because if I win even once, because you realize how many, like I would have to lose 1,000 times. I have a feeling
I'm not walking out of that game with a positive gain, Roberto.
Right. Because if I'm willing to spin 1,000 times, I can break even or win because I only have to win once. But I could before it's truly not worth the risk, I would have to try and fail 1,000 times. So I want you to understand that the people who make it are more willing to fail than you are willing to try. They have failed already more times than you have ever tried. Everyone on this panel has probably made more videos that have tanked than videos you have even made. We have more videos that have flopped, more videos we've deleted.
This is where that battle music would come in right here.
On the cutting room
battle
floor.
music. Yeah.
Think about it. We have more edited, shot, and color graded footage on the cutting room floor that we threw in the trash than you've ever uploaded to your channels. Think about that. That's real. And the same with Mr. Beast. Do you realize the catalog of videos that this man made and suffered through to fail? To not even get, he did 100 videos to not even get 1,000 subscribers. He did 450 videos to crack 10,000. That is a lot of failing your way up. And look at him now. And I'm not saying you're going to be there if you just keep going. I'm saying that to get anywhere, you have to understand what the true value of your sacrifices is, and you have to understand what you stand to gain if you win just once versus all the times. Are you willing to go through the 100 fails or the 1,000 fails to make it all worthwhile on the one win, the maximum upside? And I just want people to think about that.
All I can think about is that game.
All right. Thank you, Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm thinking like, okay, so that's 10,000, and how many times would I have to land on like $1 or $20 in order to come out of that positive? Like that's what I'm thinking about right now.
Yeah, it's like
so really quick. Super duper OG says, "Hey Nick, how do you deal with fake donators on your channel? People drop super chats that don't exist. I had one for 200 last night and it wasn't real." So probably what happened in that situation was probably a currency issue. I'm guessing that it wasn't like a legitimate super chat. I've never seen a fake super chat. They might exist, but I've never seen one because it has to actually go through a funding system in order to actually show up as a super chat anyway. So probably what you're dealing with is a currency conversion problem to where basically maybe they donated like 200, whatever would be something small like rupees or something, but it ended up, not converting to that in, US dollars, for example, or Canadian dollars. So, because of that, it was probably just a currency thing. Or not, it could be a thing and I just haven't seen it yet. But I personally have never seen, any fake super chats. But what I would do, how I would handle that is I would probably not even notice, to be honest with you. But if I did notice, I would report it to, I would just report it to Google and let them know so that they would know. But on their end, they would probably identify it relatively fast also.
Yeah.
So
if you have
you're not
your
going to capture that money though, by the way, you're not going to get that money.
Right.
Yeah, and you can check that if you have your live stream listed for replay or still on your channel, you can actually find that spot where that happened. If you go into the monetization tab of your channel, you'll be able to see who has super chatted and how much, and maybe and acknowledge, oh, there it was right there. It was 200 pesos.
Those pesos, man, they'll get you every time, won't they? Man. All right. On that note, I want to thank everybody for hanging out in the stream today. I hope you learned something during the live stream, something about, growing your YouTube channel, or I hope that you met some other cool content creators here hanging out today. I've got links to Daniel and Roberto and Benji as well down in the video description, as well as some other people that hop on the stream from time to time. So you can find everybody down in the video description. Everybody adds tons of value to their communities. So I recommend that you follow everybody that is down there in the video description. And we'll be here same time, same place next weekend as well. So feel free to swing by. Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern is when I get started with the live stream here. And thank you so much for hanging out, and I will see you next time.